The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
Why?
let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink!
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this feel-good Friday, August 2nd, 2024. This program starts now. Football! Holy hell, it is back. That's right. Last night, the NFL Hall of Fame game kicked off the NFL season officially. Now, were there many players that we knew playing on that particular field? Kinda. Kinda. Was there a new player that we learned about named Colin Johnson who might be an absolute weapon for the Chicago Bears? Definitely. Did we see NFL legends give interviews? Of course. Did we see Joe Buck and Troy Aikman do their thing and hear everything that they had to do? Did we get introduced to a new rules expert who will be joining us in about 14 minutes or so to talk about the brand new kickoff that got debuted last night, and also showcasing this is what will happen if wind was to take place or if this was to take place. Well, I watched that first kickoff just like everybody else. I put out a tweet once the NFL tweeted out the first kickoff and said thoughts to just, the X-verse, which is a fun thing to do. Just kind of blanket statement, thoughts. How do you feel about this? Not leading anybody in any particular direction. No. Just would like to get natural thoughts, natural reaction to the first ever time we're seeing this kickoff as the brand new kickoff for the biggest, best league in the world, the NFL. Now, there was obviously a conversation about the kickoff being removed from the game completely if the special teams coordinators did not figure out how to save the play. And if you lose the kickoff, what's going to happen to punt? What's going to happen to special teams? That was kind of the ripple effect fear that people were having if you lost the kickoff. So the special teams coordinators around the NFL came together, watched what the XFL did, kind of critiqued it a little bit, made it a little bit more NFL-y, but mostly the XFL return. They changed some of the yardages on kickoff, touchbacks in the landing zone, yada, yada, yada. And we saw it for the first time last night. A lot of people's thoughts were fascinating. A lot of people said, I haven't seen enough to judge it. I respected that. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, that was good civil discourse right there. There were some people who said, this ain't football. Then there were some people that were saying, you know what? I don't mind this. Yeah. I think you could see the potential. Last night, a lot of XFL guys playing in that game. So the returns and the work is going to look exactly like it did in the XFL. We won't really know what this kickoff is going to look like until we see guys with 4-2s and 4-3s returning the kicks in the back and alongside blocking it all. Now, the Canton surface is a little slick. It is a turf. Obviously, it's a high school field. The people of Ohio are wonderful. They fill that place up. It is a real celebration. And the game got called short, so we don't know who would have ended up winning, but both the teams played great. But the kickoff was the story of this entire thing. If you go to the first kickoff, okay, this is my big takeaway from this thing. If we could put it on his back. So, and next to me here is 13-year NFL vet, corner, and all-pro kickoff and punt returner, Adam Pac-Man Jones. Pac-Man, the camera's that way if you want to say hello to anybody. Hey, yep, that's Pac-Man Jones. Okay, so this is obviously very crucial to both of our careers. Now, one of us has tackled the other person in this shot right now.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Do you want any guesses?
Well, I'm trying to think. When did Pac-Man kick off?
I was going to say, you returned a couple of kicks, didn't you?
Yeah, I played wide receiver a little bit.
Yeah, quarterback?
Yeah, running back, they had me.
Yeah, if he was playing corner maybe when you were a quarterback.
Yeah, the thing about it was Pac-Man was about to score on us. He was about to break through that first, and I was in there, and I was going for the ball, too. I was going for the ball, too. There's no way, right? Tavon Austin took 198 on me, okay? On the same day that I was giving a Toyota to a family of a returning soldier at halftime. Tavon Austin took 198 yards. That was supposed to be a pin. Tavon Austin, West Virginia legend, highlight legend, takes one in the house. Can't be having the entire West Virginia crew just take one, on my face.
Yeah, makes sense.
Can't have it. Now, needed a fair catch. Son of a bitch wouldn't fair catch ever, this particular guy. So, good gamesmanship, but all pro, literally. Talked about as one of the biggest and best returners of all time. So this is the first time we're seeing this kickoff, okay? So the big question with it all is, there's a landing zone here. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me. There's a landing zone right here, okay? Ball has to go in there, obviously. Hang time does not matter. Hang time does not matter at all.
No.
Because this play does not start until somebody touches the ball. So how long it's up here to give your team time to get in there does not matter. All this kicker who's all the way back, this looks kind of weird. I don't love it.
Yeah, it does.
I don't love the way, this whole thing kind of looks. But all this kicker's trying to do is land it here, okay? This is the goal, landing it in between the 5 and 10. That's landing it, not where they catch it, landing it. Because if that son of a bitch lands here, that ball's coming out already to the 30. So if you're trying to cover and work, you're trying to land it in between the 5 and the goal line. Hang time does not matter. So then the next question is, okay, with the landing zone, 2 people back, these guys aren't allowed to move. Who's telling these people when they're allowed to go cover?
Yeah.
Like, when are they allowed to go? And we talked to Coach Riz as he was pitching this rule to the NFL. They said they didn't want what the XFL does. The XFL would blow a whistle. This play has started. They touch the ball. You can go. Blow a whistle to kick. Blow a whistle when ball's touched. Blow a whistle when tackle happens.
Too much.
3 whistles, 1 play. Play in between the whistles. There's a lot against football in that particular series of events. I know other sports have it where there's a whistle that indicates something in the middle of a play. I think the NFL people did not want to add an extra whistle. Right. So what they were going to go off of, and Joe Buck pitched this, we'll be talking to Troy Aikman in about an hour and 10 minutes, so live from Canton Hall of Fame, everything he's got going on the call last night, is they're expecting it to be like in baseball when somebody tags up or whatever. So somebody catches a fly ball, they catch it, and then the runner knows that they can go and score. Now, that's been in baseball since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
For kickoff coverage, there's never been a time where you are, because you're about to, this is like a lot of contact, a lot of running, a lot of everything, a lot of energy. Are you going to make the team? You're covering kicks right now, so you're at the bottom of the roster. You need to know that anyways. So there's a lot. Are you going to be able to hold your water and also get off on the right time when somebody just catches the ball and you just see them catch the ball and then you're like, that's on me. I'm gonna wait. I think that's asking a lot of the kickoff coverage team. So that was my big fear, is like, how are we going to indicate when they can start covering and not covering? Because if you're late off the ball and they're able to set up a return, house call.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, if you're early, you're making the tackle. So this is the first one. Look who, go ahead and play it. Guess who makes the tackle? Boom. That guy's first one off the ball, right? Who makes the tackle? Bang. That guy. Right? That's going to be an advantage. Did he leave early? Absolutely.
Yeah,
He was the first person off the ball before the ball was caught. He has a yard head start on everybody else.
Yeah.
He ends up making the tackle. So naturally, as somebody who sat in special teams meetings, and Pac-Man can attest to this, people are going to see this film, and everybody that's going to be trying to make a roster at the bottom of the thing is going to be like, oh, they'll give you a little bit. They'll give you a little bit beforehand, and if you're the first one off the ball, you're going to make the play. You make the play, guess what you make? The team.
Yep.
Which means what? You make money,
right.
which is all anybody is really looking for. So I don't think they had that figured out in the first half. So then they go at halftime, they come out in the second half. Let's go to the opening kick of the second half, okay? Tommy Townsend, who slaughters football, had a 63-yard punt last night, was his first punt. He is multiple-time Super Bowl champion at this point, just dog added to the Houston Texans, which I don't like.
Sure.
I don't like that they just keep getting better at every fucking position, it seems like, down there in Houston. They're supposed to be terrible. This team was supposed to be, but nonetheless, let's move forward. Fairbairn's kicking off here. This is the first kickoff of the second half. Go ahead and run it. 3 steps. If it's windy, the 12th player can come on and hold it. Tommy's supposed to get the tee. Instead, waves to his family. He's going to have to get through that entire thing. They have this kickoff. This is the furthest return I think that there was, out to like the 32. Everything else was in between the 20 and 30. From what I saw, I might have missed at least one of them. A lot of high-scoring stuff. And they called a penalty on that, though. They said that somebody, illegal formation, somebody left the line early. They would run a replay. Nobody left early, but it was clear that at halftime, somebody told ref, hey, listen, we got to call people leaving early because that can't become the thing. I have no idea how they fix that. I have no idea how, with human instinct, the competitive edge, what's on the line for every single one of these plays, how every single one can become a touchdown, which Pac-Man's going to talk about here in a matter of moments. But like, let's say it's a Super Bowl. Let's say it's a Super Bowl. Minute 15 left.
It's a crucial play.
Biggest play. I mean, you're talking about biggest play. And how are they going to monitor if somebody is, even if you're 1 foot past, that's a third of a yard here in America. I know we're going off meters and shit for the Olympics.
Sure.
But, a yard is 3 feet. Even if you're 1 foot, that's a 1 foot advantage off early. Are they going to call that? Are they going to call that? If that's a tackle inside like the 15, are they going to call that back and have them redo it? If it's a house call, okay, are they going to talk about one of the returning teams leaving a half a step early? Like, how are they going to – that's going to be, in my eyes, as kickoff person, special teams person, that one's going to be the toughest to figure out. That one's going to be toughest to regulate. Other than that, though, I think there's a lot of promise for these returners. Legitimately, I think it's going to bring some excitement if people are kicking it into the landing zone.
For the returners, I think this is great. That is an issue with the guys that leave early. Me personally, I think it should be like a shot clock horn, I guess, sound for when they can go. But for as returners, if it was the first kickoff return, I think it was a block away from being up out of there. Even the last one too. But so the returners are going to be happy because they are going to get more action with the ball.
I think they're going to be able to have exciting returns.
For sure.
Which leads me to, I think, touchback, take the ball at the 30 as opposed to a potential breakthrough one line.
Yeah.
The original rule was if you kicked the touchback, the ball would come out to the 35. That's a big deal. The percentages of scoring a point whenever you're at the 35 versus at the 25, vastly different because think about how many first downs you got to get to get into scoring range. Like that is literally what kickoff people and punters are doing is field position, and the percentages of where they start versus how many times they score is just vastly different between 35, which what used to be a touchback, 20, 25, 30 even. 30 is kind of an interesting designation because couple first downs, you're in maybe field goal range. 35, couple first downs, definitely sending them out there. So it's like they were going to have it be a 35-yard penalty if you kick a touchback, so forcing people to kick it in the landing zone. They moved it back to the 30 to get the rule. I don't think there's going to be much change. I think you're going to see a lot of touchbacks because of what Pac-Man just said. All you need is one person just to peek or be laid off the ball, and we got house calls, which is exactly why they wanted this to be the kickoff return. I'm just not 100% sure if we'll see it or not.
Yeah, and I think that was like my biggest takeaway. I don't want to say concern because obviously that's part of it. Like we want more excitement from the kickoff, but thinking of Tyreek Hill back there, it's like I think they want more touchdowns. I don't think I personally like it would be weird if like what if they do this and they don't make many changes to it and Tyreek Hill ends up taking like 12 back this year. Like I don't want it to turn into a situation where it's like
that'd be dope.
Almost every single play is a return touchdown. Like I don't
it's just touchbacks. What I think is going to happen,
and I think that's why they're going to go to that.
I think the 30 isn't a big enough penalty for post touchback. Personally, I don't think it is. Just whenever you look at the percentages of scoring, but I think that was the only way they were going to get it past some of the owners that were probably voting on this rule. Yeah. Wait a minute, this is going to be what our kickoff is? Well, yeah, it's going to force more returns. They take it to the 35. Somebody said, wait, 30, we're just going to give up the 35 if somebody kicks it too good, somebody kicks it too hard. We're not going to do that. They move it to the 30, I'm not sure, but like in theory, this is awesome. You know, looking at it optically, I think it's going to take some time for people to. I think it's going to take some time because it looks like a practice, which is what it was. This was a practice drill for like the last 30 years in the NFL for kickoff coverage. Whenever you don't want to run the team as far, so let's say it's week 15.
Thursday practice.
We're doing kickoffs. Guys, boys are tired. Like it's been, we had our bye week was early. We're doing this entire thing. We got to cover kicks though. You don't want them running from 30-yard line, 35-yard line all the way down. So you just move everybody down to like 35, 40 on the other side. Then a jugs machine hits the ball. Whenever it's caught, everybody move on it. This is literally what the practice drill has been for 40 years. The XFL instituted it into the game.
I thought they invented it. Basically did.
All right. There was a little bit of a campaign by some people over there acting as if they created the entire thing, but they were the first ones to institute it.
Yep.
So I think that is something. And then they had the medical results and the health results and the injury results from it. And then that obviously gets pitched and turned into it. It could be more exciting. The kickers having to make like 25% of the tackles is pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's a pretty cool thing to think about. You know, because I think we're going to find out about some dogs that are kicking balls.
Oh, yeah.
Now, on the flip side, I do worry.
Yeah, like the Giants had Randy Bullock starting week 15 last year. He brings the heat. And I do worry about that side. Like if your kicker goes down, you're on a backup free agent that you just signed kicker, and then he's out there, tackling people.
So the thing is, because you don't have to hit the ball good.
I was going to ask you, how hard do you think it is to keep it out of the end zone?
In that landing zone. Yeah, so it's like 20 yards long. And with some of these guys who aren't kickers, who kick off. I think the dude down in, was it Justin Reed, hit a touchback?
Yes. Yeah.
I think he hit a touchback. That's very abnormal. Normally, whenever you see somebody from a position who played soccer growing up, who understands how to kick linebacker or safety or corner or wide receiver, whatever it is, I think like Dude Perfect, Dude Perfect is like, all right, let me throw this football as far as I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that's how far I can throw it. Let's put something in there.
Wait, they do that?
Well, I think that's just one of their strategies. They've openly talked about that. I think that is the thing. With some of these positional players, with the way they kick, I think full kick gets them
to the money
in the landing zone. Like, I think them just kicking it gets them in the landing zone. But if you mishit that, because you're not a professional kicker, and you accidentally squib it, which certainly happens with people, that ball's out on the 40. That ball's out on the 40 or whatever. So it's like trying to manage risk-reward with all of it is like, and it's the first time it's happening. So many special teams coordinators were watching this last night just thinking to themselves, like, how can I take advantage of this? What are they trying to do? And also, is this even comparable? Because the returners are not the returners that you're probably going to see this season. So that is the story for me of the kickoff, is how they're going to manage how this neutral zone and a kickoff team and a coverage team don't move before the ball is touched, and not too late of a get off either. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, a brand new rules authority for us in the public, but somebody who's been around the NFL for 15 years. Made his debut last night alongside Joe Buck and a man who's a big fan of him, Troy Aikman. Ladies and gentlemen, Russell Yerk. Atta baby. How you doing, Russ?
Hey, great to be here.
Hey, honored to have you. Great debut last night. How'd you feel up there? A little jitters, maybe? You know, a lot of eyes on you kicking off the season. You're in there with two Hall of Famers. Joe, obviously, in Broadcast Hall of Fame. Troy, actually in the NFL Hall of Fame and Broadcast Hall of Fame. Then you get dropped in there as a rules aficionado with, the biggest change, seemingly, in the history of football happening at the very start of it with the kickoff. How'd you feel going in, and how do you feel going into the season, Russ?
Absolutely great. I mean, Joe and Troy are amazing. They really, kind of helped me to kind of understand the broadcast side of things, because obviously I know the football side of things. The broadcast side was a little new, so like you said, little jitters, but great team, great preparation. Couldn't have asked for a better group of guys.
All right, well, congratulations on a great night. Got cut short.
Yeah, it did.
Obviously, we couldn't get too much football. You know, they said we still got to keep waiting with the rain in the universe. It'd still be a great Hall of Fame weekend in Canton, Ohio. Obviously, all conversation has been about this new kickoff. Now, Colin Johnson, absolute dog.
Yeah.
Dougie Davis-Mills still doing his thing. Bad. Obviously, those are going to be conversations from the game, and those will be forgotten in about 2-3 weeks. But this kickoff thing is going to be talked about for the entirety of the season as it goes. First kickoff, I was watching at home. I assume you were watching as well. As a kickoff person, I assume, because we've done this drill in practice, if you get an early start like the guy who makes the tackle did, he was off before everybody else, you're going to have quite an advantage. And I know that the NFL didn't want to use a whistle to indicate that the ball has been touched for everybody to go. How are they actually telling people they can go? And how is this going to kind of evolve through the season, you think, Russ?
Yeah, the players are watching for the ball. I think the receiving team players were initially going to be keying off the kicking team players, but my understanding is that gives them, a little bit of a delay. So some of them you saw looking back last night as well. And they can, move. They can prepare to go downfield. They just can't take their feet off the ground before the ball's touched. And so I think they're going to get better and better with that over training camp and as the season progresses. And generally, they did a good job last night. There were a few fouls where they left early, but not many.
So they can prepare.
Yeah. So long as 1 foot on the ground or
no,
two.
two. Got to stay base, he said. Got to stay base, right? You got to have foot on line, too, right? On yard line?
1 foot on the yard line and both feet on the ground until the ball's touched or the ball touches the ground. But they can, as you saw, some guys would get into some sort of a lunge stance beforehand to try to, be ready to go right when the ball's touched. So there's a lot to that.
Okay, so how are they going to monitor it? You said the guys were pretty good last night. On the first one, there was an offside. Second half kickoff, they called an illegal formation, but then we look back, it was like, not really. Are they just banking on that guys will do it right? Because let's say, I just want to toss a hypothetical out there. Welcome to sports media, Russ. Obviously, you've watched this. Hypothetical, Super Bowl, minute 15 left in the game.
Biggest play.
Okay, minute 15 left in the game, up to or whatever. Somebody is a foot leaning over or gone on both sides. But massive play just happens. They're going to call that back? Like, how are they going to monitor? Let's not just say Super Bowl. Let's say every single game. How are they going to monitor it? And how do the refs on the side that are going to be the ones tasked with saying if anybody's offsides or not, do they just get like a go sign or sound from somebody? How is it kind of being officiated, if that makes sense?
Now,
Question.
Yeah, and one thing you noticed last night is, unlike normal kickoffs in the past and normal scrimmage plays, there were no officials on the actual lines where the players were lining up, the 35 and 40.
Okay.
They're either in front of them or behind them. So what they're doing is they're looking at the feet on the ground while peripherally watching the play and seeing when the ball's touched. And they're not going to be hyper technical on this, right? Just like you might have players on a line of scrimmage for potential false starts that, might leave a fraction of a second early. Nobody wants that called. So they're looking for the big ones. They're going to get the big ones. And, I assume they'll call it the same in the playoffs and in the Super Bowls they do in the regular season. So there'll be a little leniency there.
It's not the NFL's fault, not your fault that you're telling us this information, but the conspiracy fodder is going to be, that's just the game we're in with how popular it is and how literally, everything is like this much of a difference on whether or not your city is able to celebrate or your city is bummed out for either the week or the entire offseason. So it's like there's going to be, anytime you got judged, because those show, oh my God, the amount of, so you're telling me?
Yeah, you kidding me?
Like the amount of those that's going to take place as everybody kind of gets used to it, I think is inevitable. But I like the fact that the NFL is trying to save the kickoff, which I think should be the overwhelming response by everybody. Connor has a question for you, Russ.
Yeah, Russ, obviously the biggest one is the kickoff, but are there other new rules you think that will bring conversation this year, whether it's, reviewing penalties or anything like that we're not really paying attention to now, but once the games start might bring some sort of fodder during the season?
Yeah, I think the one that's going to have the most impact probably is the fact that teams now can challenge a third time if they're successful on either of their first two. Because in the past, if they had to win both of their first two to have a third challenge. So I think they're going to be more apt to challenge, especially late in the game when and not be afraid of not having a third challenge down the stretch. So I think that's one that's going to be big. Another one that will come into play once in a while is when a runner's near the sideline and if they're hit, like we saw with Kansas City last year and Patrick Mahomes, if they throw a flag for a late hit out of bounds and it turns out that the contact was inbounds, replay can help with that and help pick up that flag. So you're going to see some things like that will happen from time to time, but they will be pretty impactful when they occur.
Are they just radioing down like immediately, or is that something more so where you actually have to throw the challenge flag on those sideline hits?
No, that's something that they'll be radioed down from the booth.
How much more booth? So we're going to have a little bit more booth action.
Good.
That's good news, right? Don't you all agree that that's good news, Russ?
Yes, without a doubt. I mean, the replay official's there to help them when they can see things on the camera that everybody sees at home. Why not be able to help it in real time?
You were, right, the replay, you were the guy, right?
Yeah, I was a replay official as part of a crew, and I also then ran replay, was the head of replay for 6 years in the office.
So I always had, which might be a false assumption, so I do apologize if this is the case, that the on-field refs were kind of like tense against the replay refs. And like replay refs almost wanted to try to make the refs on field look good to maybe make them feel good so that there isn't a beef, because these refs obviously work their asses off. Oh, now we got somebody in the booth who's saying that I'm wrong. This whole, like, managing that relationship, has that been a thing? And are refs more apt to be open to technology helping them make the right call as opposed to maybe whenever this first got instituted?
Great question. That's absolutely changed. 15, 20, 25 years ago when replay first came in, you're right. On-field officials saw replay as just a way to expose their errors. Now they've really kind of brought them in as part of the crew, no different than the on-field officials, to help them get it right. And they've really embraced the technology. They've embraced the communication. They want that information, and they realize at the end of the day, a better officiated game makes everybody look better.
Hell yeah. Hey, that's a big deal.
Yes.
That's a big deal whenever you talk about humans, man. Especially like if you're a ref, the confidence you have to have is near cockiness.
Yeah.
Right? Like it has to be like your pride. You have to be a very prideful. Like you have to, because you're walking into hell.
Yeah.
Like potentially every single week. And nobody's there for you.
No.
Unless you screw over the other side, then you're on their side. But lo and behold, for every action, there was an equal and opposite reaction. They hate you on the other side. So like the amount of like, what's that? Chutzpah that like the refs have to have. That's tough for them to maybe hear that they're wrong, especially from some, like I think that's a big deal for humans to get to the point where it's like, we will use the 8K technology that we have to help us, and it'll be a teammate as opposed to somebody who's trying to take our jobs. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love everything about it, Russ. Pac-Man has a question for you, Russ.
Hey, Russ, going back to the kickoff, can you challenge it? What's the rules on challenging it if I think the guy's offside or not offside?
You can challenge when the ball's touched, if it touched a player, if it touched the ground, and where it touched it in relation to the various lines. You know, that'd probably be most relevant for whether it got to the 20 for purposes of treating it like a kickoff out of bounds, or whether it touched in the end zone or in the field of play for where we put the ball in touchback. But you can't challenge whether a player left early. If they lined up with a foot on the line, with both feet on the ground, whether a foot came off the ground before the ball was touched, just like illegal formations on normal scrimmage plays or false starts, that's not reviewable, and that's not something they'll get assistance usually from upstairs on.
And so, Russ,
there's going to be some people mad.
Russ, is that going to be after extended conversation calls, though, potentially reversed? Because we know what extended conversation means, right? That means we are getting a little bit of assistance from everybody?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, it's at some point, if things occur, the league is flexible on that, especially on assistance. The officiating department works very closely with the competition committee, and if they need to, pull the owners together to modify the rule, they can do that. At the end of the day, they want to get this right. They want the kickoff to work, and they're going to do what they need to do to make sure it works.
I hope they do, too, to save it all, because what happens next if they don't. But it's like just knowing the humans, personality traits of the humans that are on those kickoff teams, like they're bottom of the roster. They're trying to make it. So, just depending on them to, like in baseball when the guy catches it, to tag up, which is kind of taught since you're like a little kid. I think that's going to be an interesting kind of development. And I completely understand why they don't want 3 whistles for one play either, because that's not really interesting. They'll figure it out, though. We will figure it out because we need to figure it out.
Yeah, baseball, there's also a guy standing next to you that's, telling you exactly when to go. Yeah. And it's
go.
Yeah, very close to him. Like there's a coach on the field next to you.
But we'll figure it out.
Of course, always do.
There's something else new coming that is a big deal and been talked about for a while. Let's head to Hammer Dahn with Tone Diggs, Russ.
Yeah, Russell, you talked about the adaptation of technology and the acceptance of that. Where are we at with the Hawkeye technology and potentially replacing the chain gang for the first down markers?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, they're installing those cameras now, and they're practicing it in the preseason. So they're going to do a test throughout the preseason to see it works. If it works, I think they're going to probably, if it does work, institute it next year in 2025. I don't necessarily know that they're going to be putting in for the 2024 regular season, but it's actually really cool because the chains will still be on the sideline. But when the referee calls for a measurement, they'll announce that they're calling for a measurement, maybe make a signal. And then like you see in tennis, they'll go to a graphic on the screen and in the stadium that will, come down and show the ball in relation to the line to gain and whether it's a first down and if it's short by how much. Looks really cool.
Russ.
Looks cool.
In theory, all this shit is so good. We're just talking about from the world we live in, which is like the internet.
Like, can you trust it?
Yeah, bingo. That's the whole. That's all. That's like everything is now like, and I guess that's going to be no matter what happens. But it's like I'm very pumped for the Hawkeye technology to come in there.
Oh yeah,
that should expedite. That should be
for sure
big time.
That should be make the game better. How about the reviews? It feels like with the conversation from the booth, a little bit more in the ears and maybe a little bit more conversation, the review times have seemingly gone down. But there's a couple in this is literally your department. There's been a couple of do not take any offense to this. Your job is much harder than any of ours who judge you. And I assume we have said things that you have heard that you don't love. And we apologize for that. We do. Russ, thank you for your service to the NFL. But we do apologize for anything we've said that we might not fully understand. And that's across the board. Now, with that being said, these reviews sometimes too long. We agree. Like if everybody on the internet seemingly can agree on something quicker than what's happening in real time in the reviews, like that's not good because the internet doesn't agree on anything. So it's like that's always been a chatter. How are they expediting that process? Because I know that the reviews at the beginning, the reason why some older NFL fans didn't like is you're slowing up the game. It's like, have we gotten to a point where we think those are going to be much quicker and we've kind of worked out how the best process is to get to the right answer quicker?
I do. And Hawkeye's also, helping to put together a system where they furnished the New York, the AMGC, and the replay officials at the stadium, all the different camera angles in real time. So what that allows them to do is get to the angles quicker. They're working together so they can make decisions quicker. And I agree with you. If there's not something clear and obvious in 60 seconds or so, which is what the rule book technically says, then stay with the ruling on the field. It's not clear and obvious. Let's move on.
Now, with that being said, if it seems like common sense, we also need that. But then we don't need it in big situations to screw it. I mean, it's a never-ending dog chasing its tail that you guys have to figure out. But we do appreciate the striving for making it better.
How the players going to see like third down? Like, say if I'm sitting on a route, if they got the smart thing,
they'll still have sticks. Yeah, they will still have sticks. Right, sticks are still there. It's just not the chain in between that used to get tied up in knots.
Correct. The sticks will still, actually, the chain will still be out there. The sticks will still be on the sideline with the chain. One, so the players and the teams understand where the line to gain is. But two, if for some reason that technology fails, they can still bring out the chains in that situation and measure.
Handy dandy. Yeah. Hey, I'm happy the chain guys still got a gig. Right. Let's go, chain guys. You made it. They're making it to the streaming era of the NFL.
Unbelievable.
That has to be
the odds on that.
I mean, that'd be plus 100,000.
At least. Oh, yeah.
At least when those things are just trotting out there with those
microchips.
And then they would get tied up in a knot and we got to put this little plastic thing. This is the exact yard. It's like, all right.
Index cards.
And then, Gene Steratore.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What a time. Congrats to the chain gang.
Yeah. Hats off to them.
Hats off. I mean, way to go. Now they're the old faithful.
That's right.
That's good news. Last question for you, Russ. We appreciate you taking time. You still in Canton? You travel home already?
Yeah, no, I'm in Canton. I'm getting ready to go to the airport now and fly back home.
We appreciate you taking time. Ty has a question for you. Last one.
Russell, in the last couple years, we've heard, the points of emphasis that the referees are kind of focused on going into the year, and whether it's been, defensive pass interference or roughing the passer, it seems like early in the season those get called quite a bit just to kind of set the tone. Do you know what the point of emphasis that the referees are going to be focusing on this year is going to be, so we kind of have an idea what kind of calls might be called a bunch through the first 6 weeks or so of the season?
I mean, I think they're still looking like they do most years at illegal contact when you have, illegal checking downfield. That's a point of emphasis, has been for years, and is something they're emphasizing again this year. And also the difference between defensive holding and defensive pass interference when a ball's in the air versus when the hold happens before the ball's thrown. And so understanding that two-step process, because what officials need to do is they need to see the action, then they need to sometimes just turn their head and look back at the quarterback and see if the ball's in the air. Just re-emphasizing that, I think, is going to be a big part.
All right, Russ, have an incredible season. We appreciate you. What a show, Monday Night Football, every single week. You're going to be,
back in it.
Will you stop by if there's any shit that pops off?
Absolutely. Wouldn't miss it.
Okay, we really appreciate that because I feel like, and I don't know what the conversation is in the official world about us, I do feel like we pay attention to officials and rules maybe more than any other show in the history of the sport.
No doubt. Because
we know you are a massive part of the game and the outcome. And there is phenomenal refs out there. But then also there's situations where humans potentially make mistakes and then somehow we're not able to fix it and the whole world talks about it. So if we were able to have you come on 15 years in this thing, you would know better than us. We appreciate the hell out of that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Big fans.
Okay, I like that.
There you go.
There you go.
Hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Russell Yurt.
Hey, Russ.
Some of them aren't.
No
shot. But we got one.
Some of them are.
We got one.
I know Big Walt.
Yeah, definitely.
Gene.
Big Walt. Steratore's Paisan, been a fan since high school.
Pereira.
That's Western Pennsylvania Italian. Pereira, seemingly big fan. Dean
Blandino. Like Cleet Blakeman, maybe.
Cleet likes us. Yeah, Cleet. I know Cleet pretty well.
Blackman, I don't know. I forget what his last name is. Cleet something.
I think it's Blake.
Yeah, it's Blakeman.
Yeah, I think it's Blakeman.
Okay.
John Hussey
on the call last night.
Yep.
Hussey's got good pizzazz.
Yeah. Gets it.
Hussey's very comfortable on the field, which is a massive piece of being a Whitecap, by the way, because you got a solo shot. They give out those stats, how many people are watching. 48 million people watched the game yesterday. Oh, football's killing it. Yeah, but there's a 45-second period where it's one human representing all of football, like not just the league, representing all of football right here. Why is what's happening in front of me, and what are the penalties for it? So the refs that have a little pizzazz, a little moxie, are the ones that we all like, but also they're the ones that get plucked and put on TV.
Bingo.
Yeah. So that's a whole nother issue that needs to be talked about, because like Gene Steratore,
best in the biz.
Everybody talks about Ed Hockley. Obviously, Ed Hockley is a beast.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Shocked.
Great personality.
Yeah.
Knew how to control the flow of game, which I think is a big part of it all. Like talking to players. Yeah. Hey, see you doing it. We're hearing you doing it. Like, come on. We see it. We understand what you're doing. Let's move on. Just like Gene Steratore, though. Like Ed Hockley, obviously, because he was jacked. Gene just seemingly was born to be a Whitecap.
Be a ref.
And I know he's college basketball he refs, and his father was a referee, and his brother was a referee,
boy now.
and his boy is a referee. Like, he comes from the family. But whenever they take him off the field, I think we all were very.
Oh yeah.
Like, we need not only the way he speaks and the casualness of like we're done here, thank you, and then turns off his mic, just so in control of everything. It's good for football.
Yeah.
When football has somebody that's confident talking about it and like explaining it well in a expedited time, it's just good for ball. I'm excited to see the new Whitecaps out there and them shit their pants. Personal foul.
Or 6'4", 6'6".
They screw up the
Wait.
way.
Hold on. What number?
64.
64 offense. Shit. 15-yard penalty. First and 25.
Take the hat off.
And then just quit.
Yeah, give it to someone else.
Think about it. They know that there's 50 million people watching it too. And they got to deliver a promo now all of a sudden and get it right. You get it wrong, there's not only like fans pissed, now there's gambling I mean, hey, a lot of technology. Let's go to Hammer.
Dahn.
Tone, a lot of technology being used. And obviously, we like that. We like technology being used. I like the fact that 8K cameras are being used that can slow things down very quickly, better than a human eye can, so we can assist those officials in getting calls right. But boy, that's all going to lead to just, Hawkeye's in charge of what, and what? Whoa. Did you know that the founder of Hawkeye was born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts? Like, that's the type of shit that's going to come from this. But I think ultimately the game is going to get better. The games are going to get faster, I think. And with this new kickoff, hopefully more exciting. Speaking of exciting, we've come to a new time in the Olympics, Tone.
Yeah.
Track time is here. What else do we need to be looking at the Olympics, Tone?
Yesterday was a huge day for the U.S. overall. They had seven medals total. 4 of those medals were gold. We talked about yesterday the 4 minus the coxsman in the rowing, who brought home the first medal in 64 years to start off the day. And then in foil, anybody know what foil is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fencing of sorts.
Bingo, it's team fencing. We got a gold in that one, so that was huge.
Hold on, Tone, though. That was in the women's, right?
Yes.
So in fencing, we want 1, 2.
Yep.
Gold and silver.
Yep.
And then our team goes gold. Our women are the best fucking sword fighters on earth.
Right.
Got the sword
By
home.
far,
Yep.
got the medal, got the resume. We are good if we end up in that type of situation. Shout out to them, kicking ass. Sorry, Tone, I just thought that.
No.
Yeah, 1, 2, and team is like a full, like SUNY. So we go 1, 3, and team in gymnastics. That's hey,
We run it.
We run that shit.
Yeah.
We like that is. We need to celebrate the hell out of that, I think.
That's huge. We also got a gold in the pool, which is something we've ran for a long time. The 200-meter breast, Kate Douglas won that one. And then obviously Simone brought home the all-around gold, which you just referenced yesterday. There has been some medals today so far as well. We got a bronze in mixed archery.
Okay. America?
Yeah. U.S.
Let's
go.
Love it.
I'm not speaking for Italy here. I'm speaking for the U.S.
Well, what about
does Guinea have any of the?
I have no ties to Guinea. We got a silver in equestrian today, so that was sweet as well, and a bronze in sailing as well. Today.
On the water.
We have boats and swords. We got the best pirates in the world.
Yeah.
Boats, swords. What else do we need?
Boats, swords, archery. It sounds
Cannon.
like
Yeah,
we're
we
in
did
there.
pretty good. Rum drinking, I bet.
Oh, we're up there.
Especially as the boat.
Yeah, no doubt.
Whiskey drinking, definitely.
For
Without
sure.
a doubt.
Yeah, I don't know what equates to that
We gotta
one.
get pirated into the Olympics.
We got to get that the assassin yesterday.
Yeah.
Hand in pocket.
Yep.
Yeah, Turk gun.
Yusuf.
We need him to become an American.
Yep.
He's thinking about it.
Is he?
I mean, he has passports.
Because everything we've said about him over
Yeah.
here?
He's like, I like these guys.
That checks
Man,
out.
nobody ever talks about that.
I know.
I mean, he's got 50 different nationalities.
I did not need special equipment. I'm a natural shooter. We know.
Boy,
Okay,
the
buddy.
memes with that one.
Yeah, we saw it. We know. Yeah. Yes. A lot of other people, they found out at the very last minute
Yeah, right.
that you were a natural shooter. Whoa, shit.
What's that?
Because just as that age, that good. What does he just go to the local shooting? He goes to the local gun range and he's like, "Hey, look at this on like Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights." What are we?
Blindfolded.
Well, it's mostly
bore the
3
shit
a.m.
out of him.
Mostly 3 a.m. and the targets don't normally see him.
Okay, that's what.
Exactly.
It's hard not to say that with how calm, cool, and collected they are, and how cool they all fucking look. Whether they're coming out of the Matrix with the glasses on or with absolutely nothing, it's like they look so cool. Who is that? The woman who won gold medal.
Yes. Also very similar.
Broke the world record.
Yeah.
Best shooter of all time. Lifts her little monocle up. Finds out she broke a world record. Puts that thing in there. Just walks off.
Yeah.
No smiling.
It's just a world record. You should have seen I killed 95 people in one night. What are we?
With my eyes closed.
What are we doing? Bad guys, obviously. All bad people. There's nobody good. But this Olympics is awesome, Tone. And we're getting into the time here where America's about to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, America's about to do it here. This medal count that we have over everybody else, welcome to track and field. This is where we run away from all of it, Tone.
Yeah. Also, women's beach volleyball, Nuss and Cloth, they are undefeated in their group play.
Hell yeah.
LeBron was there last night, loving it for those two.
Going nuts.
They had a rain delay stuck around. Maybe instead of one bottle of probably some nice French
Oh yeah, a nice
red wine. Instead of one, he said, with a little rain delay, we got to do 4 or 5 of these things. Him and his bride having an evening watching the Olympics. I've been watching these families enjoy these other sports.
It's awesome.
It looks like so much fun.
It's really cool.
It do.
Like Peyton's taking these selfies and he's like at the pool, and it's like he's marking out. Like he is very excited to be there. I saw the NBC, the morning show, the Today Show. Hoda and Savannah, they went to the gymnastics meet, and like the way they were talking about it is like you're part of history. It's like everything is like you're a part of history.
Coolest thing you've ever seen.
Every time. And everybody gets treated, because like there's a lot of.
Oh yeah.
So like Peyton's able just to sit.
Yep.
Like have a time, watch sport. LeBron seemingly able to do the same exact thing. It's like that is probably such a relief for all of them.
Probably collectively, this is probably the best group of athletes that we've had from the United States to go represent us.
Most notable, right? At least?
Most notable, for sure.
Most names in different sports, like you just mentioned, like the track and field are coming up, like Sha'Carri, Noah Lyles, like there are
She's about to cook, by the way.
Oh,
She's got a final tomorrow at 3 p.m. local,
Noah too.
Eastern Standard Time. Noah Lyles also going for it. Sha'Carri cooked everybody, I guess, in her Olympic debut, and it's like. Remember, she wasn't able to run last time because
1094.
A natural plant happened to, and I heard it was when she was sleeping.
Could have been.
Ran into her
mouth and
her lungs. Yeah. And then she wasn't fastest person on earth. That definitely doesn't make you faster.
Definitely
doesn't make you faster, but not allowed to compete because attacked in the middle of the night by a plant that was in the ground and it just ran up the window.
Poison
ran in her
ivy.
mouth. She tested positive.
Like Jumanji.
Bingo.
Very similar, yeah.
Hey, great Olympics update, Tom.
Baby Tony.
So Sha'Carri's about to win it all. Can't wait to watch that. It's a good redemption story. Just like Simone Biles, happy as hell for her.
Oh, yeah.
After what she went through mentally, I couldn't even imagine. Then when you get back to that stage, that's when it would, right?
Yeah,
that's when all of the work is really going to get tested.
Yep.
She shows up, she ends up winning it. Now, a lot of people are like, she quit on her team last year. I saw a lot of people saying that. It's like she felt like she wasn't able to do anything. And if you get like mentally broken in that particular sport, if you lose any confidence at all, that seems like a sport where like, bad outcome, like very bad, especially with how she's
doing what she's doing. Like they've hammered that home 1,000 times. Like, hey, listen, she does more difficult things out here than anyone has ever done in this sport. So like, if you get up there and it's like you're second guessing yourself, like that's how you like get very, very hurt. And also her going into the floor exercise, like she knew like, okay, I only need like a 13.6 or whatever to win. The amount of pressure, like, because that's an easy score for her, but like actually having to go out there and like. That's the kind of sport where I feel like she's doing her routine already. Like you can't kind of just like
any self-doubt. Any self-doubt at all, it's over. In a lot of sports, but in gymnastics, it seems like there are real outcomes if you have self-doubt. You don't commit fully. Okay, well then you're not doing the 1500 twisty McFlippity. And instead you're doing a 1435 and you are in it. Out. So you probably, the things that Simone probably saw in like training or practice or other events growing up where people don't hit and what happens to them, like I assume she's like, right?
Yeah.
People attacked her for it, obviously. We're all bummed out. We wanted to see the Simone Biles show. And then she does all that mental work, all that, and then you don't know until you know. Like you don't know if any of it's worked or not, or if you're going to have a trigger or something's going to happen. So for her to win again in the way she did, Way to go, Simone.
Hell yeah,
Way to go, Simone. That's not easy.
No.
Once you lose confidence, it's very hard to get it back. That is, especially as an athlete, especially at that level, being the greatest of all time. Congrats to her. You know what? We're watching it. Isn't the greatest of all time?
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
The 3-on-3 basketball.
Oh my!
It's a bummer.
No.
How do they come up with the how do they pick the players?
Okay, all right. That's a great question, Pac. A lot of people are asking it. Joining us now is the founder of the Big Three. You know, because here in the United States of America, we actually have a professional 3-on-3 league.
Yep.
Okay, that sells out arenas, plays a lot of games, real legit shit. So we are more, I think, used to watching 3-on-3 basketball now. Now the 4-point shot's sick.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is obviously awesome. So whenever we watch the Olympics, we're so confused. To maybe explain a little bit more for us, ladies and gentlemen, legend, icon, Hall of Famer in like 4 different things, Ice Cube.
Hey, what's happening, Pat? What's up, everybody?
How we doing, man? How's Big Three going? How we doing? We're cooking, it seems like.
And it's amazing. You know, we're going into week 8, and then we're going to, go to the playoffs. Drop the last 4 teams, keep the top 4 teams, and then Nashville, and then Boston. Championship. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations on another successful season. Okay, I'm seeing the clips every single week. I'm seeing more, I think, socially viral moments coming out of the Big Three, and I think that's because more people are becoming accustomed to. What season are we in right now? We're a lot.
Season number 7.
Congratulations. Season 7's a long time, and obviously with your big-ass brain behind it, it's going to make it. We should have respected that and known that from the beginning, but I think you had a lot of people probably telling you this was not going to work because it's gimmick basketball, it's other basketball, and then all of a sudden you start selling out arenas, have real competition, real moments. Congrats to you on all the success. Now let's get to Pac-Man's question there, where he said, how do we get these 3-on-3 teams? Because the United States of America right now, I think, is captivated by the Olympics. We're watching it all, and we're talking shit on these other countries, Cube. We're talking shit on Australia. Hey, we're beating the shit out of Australia. Hey, we're talking shit on these other countries. They're talking shit back. They took a screenshot of all the sports and the amount of wins you have. In the United States, 3-on-3 basketball was the worst performing group in maybe the entire Olympics. And Australia's like, oh, sorry to say. Hey, sorry to say this, lad. Mate, hey, mate. Hey, do you know they're doing this? Why are we at this point? Should we not be great at 3-on-3 basketball? And what are the rules? And do you know more than we do about it all?
Well, of course, the NBA is over USA basketball. You know, that's one thing that's a issue with why we don't have the best 3-on-3 athletes in the world in Paris. And they have this weird point system that they make these players go through, but they don't make the NBA players go through it. So we feel like they should have the Big Three players in the Olympics. We do have the best 3-on-3 players in the world, and it's not even close. You know, I mean, we're so confident, Pat, that we want to challenge the gold medal winners to a game. You know, we can play right before our championship game in Boston, August 18th. We'll fly them in, and they can play against our all-stars, and we'll see who's the best in the world. But
okay, sweet. I'll put up $100,000 to the winning team. I'll put up $100,000 to the winning team.
That's what I'm saying. Come on, baby. You know, we need to make this happen because
then we can celebrate winning the 3-on-3 Olympics. Because you're going to put an all-star team. How would you do that? What would the team be that you would use? Because I think a big part of this 3-on-3 basketball and why the Big Three guys would be such a better team suited to play this, because there's real strategy and technique and shit. Like there is real
dogs
and real dogs, real strategy though. Like you don't just drop in there and start playing 3-on-3 out of nowhere. There's ways to go about it. Would it be an all-star team for you before the championship? Or how would you set that up?
Yeah, all-star team. You know, we'll get the players that's ready to go, ready to represent the United States and bring some respect, put some respect on the name. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
At the end of the day, we're not seeing the best that we have in Paris, and that's because of pettiness and politics, and you know, it seems like the guys would rather not give the Big Three any credit, and instead of and bring a gold instead of bringing a gold medal home. You know, that's more important than this pettiness.
Okay, well, let's let this year's be the thing that changes the future, right? Let's let this happen. This game on August 16th before the championship in Boston. We'd love to put up 100,000. I mean, let's go. You know what I mean? We'd love to see this.
August 18th. It's August 18th.
Oh, fuck.
And
it's on me.
Yeah, it's right before our championship game.
Okay,
we could call it the Big Cup, you know, and look, the winner, you know, we got some money to put on it too, on top of your money, and let's do it. You know, the winner takes all. These guys don't get paid a lot, so they should jump at the challenge. We will pay all expenses for them to get to Boston and play our Big Three All-Stars on August 18th. Why not?
I love that. I love that. More money available, too, for these Olympians, obviously trying to strike while the iron's hot. You win a 3-on-3 gold medal. Get a chance to come on August 18th to the great city of Boston.
Come on.
Before the Big Three championship. Get a chance to play against a Big Three All-Star team, and there's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line. Why would you not want to do it? I only have one request, though. If the glove, Gary Payton's team, is not in the championship, we need him coaching the All-Star.
Without.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
We need him.
Chirping.
Yeah. Because he'll have a lot to say.
Get in their heads so quick.
Yeah, because these guys weren't invited to the Olympics. These guys won the Olympics. Oh, you're good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Like Gary, the amount of things.
Way better than you guys.
Oh, my God. All right, Cube, we appreciate the hell out of you. Thanks for what you do for sport. And what's next? What do we have next coming down the line? Obviously, Big Three rolling into Week 8. I assume you have 4 movies happening, maybe a musical, a book, maybe a superhero movie. I mean,
Broadway play.
It could be absolutely any. What do you have cooking? Anything?
You know, I always got something in the pot. You know, dropping an album after this season called Man Down. We got, you know,
bangers. We got bangers on it. We got bangers on Man Down. Of
course. You know, now, of course, that's all I drop is bangers, baby. You know, quintessential Ice Cube. And I appreciate Pac-Man for coming to our games in Cincinnati. I know he had a good time. And thanks for, rocking that hat on your desk, man. Salute.
Hey,
appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you for sending it. It's a pretty sweet logo.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet logo. I saw you having a great time at the show.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
And you guys are you taking teams down to cities, right?
Yeah, we are.
Detroit, I think?
We're in Detroit. We're in Miami. We're in Houston. We're in Los Angeles. We got a couple other nice owners, you know, in talks right now for a few other cities.
Yeah.
Franchising. This guy's
nice.
Turned Big Three into fucking Dairy Queen.
Yeah, that's right.
What a genius. This guy's brain is so damn big. We appreciate the hell out of you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mount Westmore, Ice Cube. Thank you. Thank you, man. That'd be so sick if that happens.
Oh,
yeah, it'd be electric.
Why not?
Need it. That would
so
be.
sick. That would be the right thing to do.
Yeah,
if you win a gold medal.
They got to do it.
Okay.
They can't turn that
3-on-3 update I got for you.
Okay, go ahead, Tom.
So the women who started 0-3 have now won 3 straight.
Let's go. All right. Let's go, Van Lent. Let's go.
They just beat Canada in overtime. I didn't realize it was sudden death. First basket wins in overtime. It was awesome.
Whoa.
So now they are definitely going to be in the play-in at least. So hopefully they can turn things around. The men are 0-4, but they're playing right now. So
the women were never the part of the conversation because they're going to figure it out. We think.
Yeah, one gold.
We were seeing them. Yeah, we think they're the men's team though. It's like we were sold on Jimmer Fredette, who I want to let Jimmer Fredette know. Thank you for your service to sports.
Yeah, and hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, bad groin, hip flexor. We saw it, but like what he did whenever he was doing it was everything.
Oh yeah.
You know, Jimmer Fredette used to take over sports whenever he would get hot. Like, we very much appreciate what he has done. 3-on-3 has become his thing, you know? So when we watch the first couple games and he's injured, he's not doing the same Jimmer Fredette stuff, we lose our optimism a little bit.
Crush.
And it turns out being optimistic was not the right thing to do with this 3-on-3 team. No. I think we stink.
But that is how they sold it going in. It was like, this team is going to win gold. They're going to kill everybody. They got Jimmer Fredette. They got these other. They got Rick Barry or Brent Barry's son, who played big time college basketball, and then another dude who is very good, who's actually the best player on the team.
Yep.
But like everything I watched going into the Olympics, like I was thinking like, oh, we're gonna beat the shit out of everybody.
Same.
Like it's not gonna be competitive at all.
Yeah, and that's because you're an American, ignorant, asshole.
Maybe, but Jimmer Fredette played all over the world.
Brother, I felt the same way, bro.
Yeah, he was a Shanghai Shark. He led the Chinese Basketball Association in scoring when he was over there. So I was just thinking, hey, we're going to be just fine. And boy, we are not just fine.
We're not.
We are struggling quite a bit. And these games haven't been particularly close either.
Serbia killed us.
Our USA team can't beat not one of the big three teams that we have here.
Well, the big three, and I don't get to catch every single weekend, but I'll see the clips. They'll pop into my algorithm. It's like, hey,
Oh yeah, plays.
I went. My first time going there, going to the game. It was real intense. Like it wasn't no kiki ha playing like, oh yeah, we just out here. No, it was strictly business.
Yeah, there was almost a full-on fist fight.
Yes,
because Gary Payton was talking shit. Like it was, they're really getting after it.
Yeah.
And every clip I see, there's people filling the arena.
Yeah, it was filled.
Not bingo. And now they're expanding into, because they're like a live event. It's like a live event that's happening around 3-on-3, which is not a knock on a league. I'm just thinking the way he decided to do this and how to make it survive 7 seasons, going into 8 seasons, probably 9, 10, keep it going. It's like, we're going to make this thing entertaining. We're going to do it right. We're going to do this. But then also the sport needs to be legit. I think it's Ice Cube's thing since the beginning. Like, it needs to be good sport. You got people like actually, I don't want to say like pumped to like play professional big three, but like aspirations like, yeah, I think I can make a big three. Like, I think I can make big three now. It's becoming like career option for people. And so whenever we watch what's happening out there, it's like, man, I saw like 4 plays in a big three last weekend that were just like, that our Team USA is not running. No. And we got like 6-8 that are like shit, which drive dish, big part of big three. Like, I don't know. It's just, I would be excited to see if the gold medal team, who's probably played together for a while, how they would do against an all-star team and how they would handle Gary Payton.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to.
A Jimmer Fredette-led team, no offense, Jimmer Fredette, has a much different vibe than a Gary Payton-led team.
Just a bit.
And the physicality, the fouling is probably a lot different. But Dr. J is a coach in the Big Three. Like, it is so legit and
Tony
just
Allen.
ready to go get a gold medal. And instead we got, Jimmer in the fun.
Whoa.
Well, but now Beastew's starting her.
Jimmer earned that.
Jimmer might be on team.
Did he?
Big Three All-Star team. What'd you say, Bub?
But now Beast, like to your point about like trying to make a legitimate, living it out of this league. Like Beastu is doing her own 3-on-3 league now. Like 3-on-3 basketball is very relevant in America. We shouldn't be losing every single damn game.
Well, it's very relevant also because it's an Olympic sport. I think something becoming an Olympic sport's a big deal because then like earlier commitment to sport happens because of like wanting to chase a goal or a dream of becoming an Olympic champion. Then I think the support behind the sport
economy
is vastly different whenever it's deemed an Olympic sport because now you're going to potentially represent the United States of America in this particular thing. So I love what 3-on-3 basketball is doing. I like the business Ice Cube's running. Yeah. But if you were just to sit down and look into what Ice Cube has accomplished, guy's a fucking dog.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Absolute dog. Just genius.
And
brilliant.
everything.
Writing, everything. And has the ability to adapt. Good businessman, Ice Cube. And has always been Ice Cube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like he's ever really. And we got what? Man Down?
Man Down. Yep.
Man Down.
Coming out after the season?
Bangers only.
Bangers only. Okay, Ice Cube.
Yeah, they had that. Man Down.
I hope Man Down. Yeah. After the season. When's the season? We got playoffs. We got the final.
August 18th.
So
that's the champion. So August 19th, I guess, would be. We're not going to put a date on. We will not put a date on him.
Tuesday after.
End of August.
Yeah, end of August. There's something coming. What a weapon. Good for him. All right, Tone Diggs and Hammer Dahn. We'll have more Olympic updates in the next hour. AJ Hawk will join us. We'll also be joined by Troy Aikman and Mike Florio.
Oh.
Yeah, should be a pretty good second hour, I think. What a time to be alive. Mm-hmm. Lucky to be here. Thankful to be here. Heading to SummerSlam after this particular program. Can't wait to get to Cleveland, then to Canton, then to Cleveland, then to Canton, then to Indianapolis.
There you go.
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We'll see you on the other side. Take 3!
In an abandoned warehouse, Arthur Isaac Fischel, the world's AI authority, has summoned the Earth's most influential doofuses for an emergency meeting about the terrifying powers of artificial intelligence. Antonio Margherita, influencer from Italy. Vladimir Borobashnakowski. Chad Speed. Jim. We catch up with them mid-dinner as Artie Fish tries his damnedest to get the influencer's attention.
Yes, that'll work. Thank you. Scram. Let's get down to brass tacks, boys. The real reason we're here. AI is it's a problem. It's going to kill us all.
It's hard to take you serious with the way your face looks right now.
I mean, you look like a fucking asshole. What are you talking about?
Oh, the only thing artificial is those fucking balls you call balls.
You look absolutely absurd.
You guys don't understand. You're not listening to me, okay? I'm wearing this because AI can hear your thoughts. It can get into your brain, guys.
You ain't got no fucking brain.
Once again, struggling to take anything you say serious. My team told me I should come to this. You look like a joke. He looks like a joke.
Like an absolute jerk off.
Does this look like a joke? Huh? That's a nuclear bomb.
Nah, that's fake. Just
fucking like bad man puts marbles in plastic case.
You need a guma, my friend.
You guys aren't listening. This right here, AI gave to me a nuclear freaking bomb. Told me the only way to save this screwed up world is to blow it up. This guy awake? Idiot.
Wake up, asswipe.
You wouldn't hit somebody with a
No, yeah, fuck.
No, don't you worry. This one is foolproof.
I doubt it.
I brought it here, boys. Not just for show.
What?
But because I'm gonna blow up the world right now!
Holy shit! That's Jack Carr!
Turns out, that was an actual nuclear bomb. Arthur Isaac Fischel was going to blow the entire world up, and Jack Carr saved us all. It was his actual first shot. And Artie Fish is actually dead. Forever. Thank the Lord that Jack Carr sensed trouble. Hell yeah, Jack Carr. Hell yeah.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
Why?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Feel Good Friday, August 2nd, 2024. Hour 2 of the program starts now. Football! Oh. Man. Yeah. Did you guys feel it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
You know, we had stopped saying something before, the actual start of the program after the beat drops, after the intro.
Sure.
For a little bit there. Some people noticed, Some people said, why aren't we yelling anything anymore? Why aren't you guys yelling anything anymore? And we all made the decision, sports is cool. Sports is cool.
Yeah, it's great. Mm-hmm.
Sports is
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. But we should build up maybe until we have our baby back.
That's right.
And our baby back is all the way back.
It is.
Last night, there was an NFL Hall of Fame game, and we saw the Houston Texans play the Chicago Bears for about 3 quarters.
Hell yeah.
It was electrifying. The over hit in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The offenses were more clean than they had been in preseason games over the last 10 years, maybe of any team ever. Completions and touchdowns and new rules in a sense that football is back, baby.
Hell yeah.
Isn't it? The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Obviously, the Olympics are taking place, and we will remain avid watchers of those sports that we see every 4 years that we become experts of and big fans of, and watch athletes that we maybe learn their story of over a matter of just a few days, fall in love with, get captivated by, and then our energy and our emotion is certainly kind of steered by their success or their failures. We love the Olympics. But last night with football on, Mike Tirico and I have spent a lot of time in prime time together.
Sure.
Okay, over the last couple weeks. It's been a blast. The view of the Eiffel Tower has been absolutely amazing. These Olympics have certainly been a great thing to lay your head down at night to and watch excellence take place. It's hard for me to flip back from hearing Joe Buck and Troy Aikman talk last night.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah. It was impossible.
Did I know who was snapping the ball out there?
No. For a little bit.
But then no.
But then no.
Even for a little, I don't know.
You knew?
I know.
No, yeah, I didn't.
I don't think I knew.
And then, do I know who's catching him? No.
No.
But still.
Case over.
But then, Colin Johnson.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this guy?
This guy's a star.
Stud.
It was hard. He was captain. Every time he was on my screen, he was doing something. First Moss of the year, go up and get it on somebody. Colin Johnson snagged it. Oh, this guy, he made one play. Good for him. What a rookie hero this guy is. In the Hall of Fame game, he makes one play. No, yeah, he scored 2 more touchdowns. This guy was the Chicago Bears last night. 3rd rounder, I do believe. Yeah. Congrats to him, becoming a name overnight. I guess you can't really learn much about a team in the Hall of Fame game, but you can certainly learn about a player that might change the entire narrative of his NFL career. Literally the first time he steps into an NFL field or stadium or game. It's like fun stuff last night. I loved it. Now we're going to have to, grit through some bad bull. Yeah, okay, that's inevitable. Unless last night is what is going to happen all preseason. There's going to come a time where we're going to get sick of this, so let's enjoy the shit out of this. Let's talk about this, and then let's also enjoy the Olympics. Man sitting in for D. Butch and Tone Diggs, ladies and gentlemen, from Hammer, Dahn, Bruce Brown. How you doing, Bruce?
I'm spectacular. How you doing?
Hey, that's great. Not a lot of people ask me that, especially in the middle of the show. Whenever I send it over. You did it yesterday. The boys got on you a bit. I want to let you know.
A little bit.
Felt good to feel like, thank you. Thank you for asking. I do feel pretty
I'm always
good.
looking out.
Football's happening, Football,
so
always.
bad.
Yeah, you are
Always.
Yeah, you
always.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, good. Hey, way to go, Bruce.
Bad boy, Bruce.
Thanks for looking out. 13-year NFL vet, all-pro returner, obviously. So last night's kickoff story is certainly one that piques his interest. Universal Records signed rapper, album dropping
September 30th.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pac-Man Jones. Pat, kickoff's going to be electrifying. I think there's going to be moments this season wherever we see some more magic that we wouldn't have seen over the last few years as they have changed the kickoff rules to what they were. That got so bad, so boring, that they actually thought about eliminating the kickoff completely because of how bad the play was. And then now they got something new they're trying out. I think we feel okay about it after the first night and think that some electricity can come.
I feel pretty good about it, and I think a lot of electricity is going to come because coaches are not putting in really their game plans right now. So it's just, hey, you block, but we're not setting game plans for preseason.
Yeah, I think they're trying to figure it out while also what can you do, what can't you do, right? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, and when, scheme-wise, I don't think nobody's going to show what they're going to do week 1 or when the season starts. So you know how it is. When you're doing this time doing preseason, you want to see the guys do the base stuff for when you get them on to do the other stuff that's required to be the best to make the 56. But right now, I'm not showing nobody nothing in preseason. Hey, it's come back here, it's return right or return left.
Yeah, you got to crawl before you can walk, I think is what you're saying, especially with a brand new rule, brand new alignment. What is even possible, they're probably wondering as well, because you can run some full speed, especially in training camp with the guys who are going to be on special teams. You can run some full speed on each other.
Yeah.
They probably are starting to get a better grip of the whole entire thing, what they're going to do. I wonder how reckless some teams will be, and by reckless, I mean aggressive, with throwbacks and everything, with the two guys back already separated. And also, the one returner can fake like they're returning it. Like, they can absolutely do the old fake return, because if the coverage team is watching to see when the person, you can certainly, kind of game that a little bit. Now they have to stay on separate sides of the field. They can't cut back and block, but how these special teams coaches decide to attack this will become one of the stories of the year. There will be a massive play out of this.
Yes, it will.
A game swinger that'll come out of this that'll be it'll be something. And I think there might be a few of them after watching last night.
Well, and for kickers, you mentioned how obviously with onside kicks, you have to work on that. And that's why not a lot of guys are successful in it, because, it hurts to work on an onside kick.
And with the new rules, it's not really likely.
And with the new rules, you can't do that. But can you work on a squib? Can a kicker kind of figure out exactly how to do a perfect line drive kick that bounces early and then gives those guys more time to get down the field?
I'm not going to speak for every human that kicked balls in my generation, but these guys are so much better. They're so good. All these guys are so good. There's kickoffs that are just being hit like 85 yards just like on a regular basis.
That Camarda video from last year.
It's absurd how far these dudes are kicking balls and what they're able to do with it. Like Justin Tucker obviously is just like, he hits the most perfect ball every single time. He's not the only one though. There's like 4 or 5 guys around the league that whenever they go on the field, it's like these dudes are going to make this kick, and it's going to be a perfect single shot every time. So I think these guys are stronger and more talented. I think techniques have been kind of tightened more. I think figuring out the knuckleball is something that one or two of them will be able to do.
Yeah.
Because if you can knuckle and land it at the 19.
Bingo.
So now it's now you get a little extra time because now unless they just let it run through, I guess, for a touchback. But if you could get it to, I guess you can't
Go down
because you have to play it.
They can recover it.
Yeah, so if somebody can figure that kick out, that's how you get it. And these dudes are so talented. I think somebody will be able to get there. But going back to your point about working on it, it's like now all these guys, I think it's a gift and a curse for them. I used to go, and if I was trying to figure something out, I'm going to kick like 150 balls. You know, like I'm going to be here. I'm going to figure this whole thing out. And then obviously the leg is completely blown out the next day and like can't do anything the next day. Got to wait a day probably to do anything worth a fuck and then go hard again. Now there's like a certain kick counter for everybody. It's like can't have you kicking more than like 50 balls, including warm-up swings, which are like 15 to 20 for some people. So like I don't know where you find the time with all the new science to try to squib it, to land it there, because you're still trying to make kicks, obviously, and you're also trying to land it in between the 5 and the 1. So I don't know if anybody figures it out, they're a dog, is what I'll say, because it will take a long time to do that, and you're risking giving the ball up at the 40.
Yeah.
Because if that thing lands early, that thing's landing at the 40.
That's points.
Yeah, that's you called your own onside kick. Yeah. And you didn't get it. Mm-hmm. Like that is what is happening there. Team's pissed. Defense pissed. Everybody's pissed about it. So it's like, you got to get really good. You got to prove that you can hit it in practice a lot because, like, for a coach to make that decision, you're potentially on the other side, giving the ball up at the 40. So there's a lot that goes into it. But I think that would be the specialty.
Yeah.
That's like if you need one. Like, if we need to pin them.
And
maybe you trust your kicker.
Yeah, trust your kicker and teams who are very confident in their defense and like know that like, hey, our defense is unbelievable, so we can maybe play around with this a little bit. If they take it at the 40, okay, we're still going to be okay. But also, how many guys are going to have the autonomy to make that decision on their own? Like, is it? That's
I don't think anybody.
Yeah, so
nobody's a big enough asshole to do that anymore.
Well,
we used to. It used to be the way things were sometimes. Not a lot. That was not a lot thing.
You weren't doing it unless you were. What,
me and Tom McMahon were like this.
Yeah.
Me and Tom McMahon were like this. So it was like, I think Tom McMahon would have literally, if it didn't work out, Tom McMahon would have said, I did it.
Yeah.
Tom would have said it to take a bullet. Like, I think he would have actually done that because that's the type of coach he was. But yeah, it was a lot of trust. And then, if I had any self-doubt, just like with.
That's what I mean.
That's why I think I relate to the Simone Biles thing so much, because there's like, that 1 year where we were doing a lot, and I literally, you call one to yourself. That is a very aggressive decision. Like that is a very.
But you knew, right? I mean, from like.
I knew I was going to get it. Yes.
Yeah.
But boy, you got to touch that thing. That thing's going to roll like 11 yards.
I mean,
like it is. And if it goes 9.5 yards, okay, it's their ball. Now,
right. Yeah.
Right on the 44-yard line. It's first quarter, primetime game, division rival. So like you got to be a real asshole. Like you know what I mean? Like there is, and you got to have a superior,
supreme confidence.
Yeah. At that particular time. So I don't know. The risk reward on everything is always kind of a conversation, and the coaches with this new kickoff are going to have to do a lot of it. I think, especially if they're going to the returns with the risk reward. Is going to be what you could possibly do. Let alone the end arounds and shit. And if you can't blindside block anybody anymore, I wonder how you even do that. But I think the ball is going to exchange hands a little bit. Or are they just going to kick it in the end zone touchback every single time? Joining us now is a man who might have a little bit of an opinion on it. The game last night was played in a state in which he was once the president of. He's currently in an attic in Ohio. He is a college football national champion, Super Bowl champion. He was on the punt team at Ohio State.
Hell yeah.
He once had, 3 times, he had 31 tackles in a high school football game. A.J. Hawk.
Yeah.
Hawker, what do you think of the kickoff? I am mind blown by the possibilities, but also a little bit worried that we're just going to hit touchbacks and the ball's going to come to the 30.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now when I watch, I feel like the cover team kind of has the advantage only being 5 yards apart. Imagine, like, you're trying to go backwards and get set up if you're on the return team and these dudes are on you instantly. So it's really tough to win that one-on-one matchup. So you see, if you get even a half a step of a jump, I mean, that's a gigantic advantage when it comes to this new kickoff.
Hey, they said they're not going to be that exact on that thing either. So guys are going to be able to get half a step. And then what happens, if because this is, I think, how most people that would be on special teams will think. Well, if they're already going to give us a little wiggle, we can take a little wiggle on the little wiggle. Because if everybody's wiggling, then we can wiggle just a little bit more. Because you talked about just a half step. That's literally all you need in a race, 5 yards, with the other team turning around and going backwards. You kind of wanted to bring that up to Russ Yerk.
Yeah, especially if they're turned around waiting for the ball to be caught. They're at
you're blind. You're blindly. You don't know where your guy is, which finding your guy is a big part of the return team. Sprint back, get back as fast as you can, flip your hips, find your guy is literally the entire thing. In this particular one, you're looking away.
I hated that.
That's interesting.
The angle down the line where you can see both of them, the Houston Texans returners are looking back at they're looking back at the ball. And that's the guy who makes the tackle, Pat, the one that you said leaves first. He made the tackle because the guy was still looking back at the ball and he lost his guy. Do you think some teams will just look at the guy in front of them?
There's no way you can do it. There's no way you can look at the guy.
You got to hold up for 20 yards, though. You got to hold up for 25 yards if you just hold up from there.
Yeah. And if you hold up and just looking at him, he going to get a quicker start because you don't know when he's going to take off.
Yeah, and the kick slide on a punt, if you were going to try and block it like that, they're sprinting at you. So even that
is it by design so there aren't touchbacks? Do they want to leave it
attack a little bit.
Yeah, so it's you have the 23 or the
touchdown.
30, or touchdown.
Yeah, it's either going to be hard day, or it's going to be electrifying. Yeah. Fascinating. Maybe that is another way to look at it. No, this is the entire purpose. Is it is going to be hard to score, but if you do, you're able to go, so they can regulate how many. Because if there was, you talked about it yesterday. I don't want to see 14 touchdowns from kickoff returns because it's impossible to kind of figure out or whatever. I think there's going to be some explosive stuff.
It is.
There will.
The whole
one-line situation, you have to have unbelievable lane discipline when it comes to the cover teams here. So, you break the first line, you're gone. So teams are going to try to figure out, hey, who's going to fold back? Who's going to be our safety? How do you scheme everybody up?
Yeah, because I did see a couple. Because normally kickoff coverage, 5-5 kicker, obviously. The ones are normally deemed like the safeties, but the ones aren't necessarily on the outside. The ones just in counting order are the safeties who will drop out. And then you got 2 who's normally hot to ball. And then you got 3, 4, 5 kind of figuring out their way. And then you got the kicker on the backside of the triangle. So you got those 3, 4, 5 kind of going. You got 2s kind of attacking from the outside, and then you got the 1s in the kicker kind of as a triangle behind, kind of figuring the whole thing out. Let's get it all locked. Do they have enough time to be able to do that? And do the safeties, the 1s, do they just stay there and kind of drift in? Is that kind of how it ends up working out? I don't know, And
that's what's going to be cool to see the kind of reverses run, because you're thinking, hey, if I'm the safety on the left side, when do I start folding? How long do I hold and stay over here, because they could bring something back, and they don't have to have blindside blocks. What they do a lot of times, obviously on punt, they're setting picks, either putting their hands up or just setting straight picks to where, hey, you better run through me and you're still not going to get to this guy.
It'll be fascinating to see how it all comes together. A man who saw it last night gave me a massive shout. Hey, massive shout out from this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Hall of Famer, I assume, in multiple broadcasting Hall of Fames, and certainly in the NFL. Super Bowl champion multiple time. Incredibly handsome.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible, isn't he?
Yeah. He's absolutely jacked
somehow.
as well.
So jacked. He's always in the gym. This guy. He's always in the gym. I see him. He's
pond and water.
House and 8 beer.
Uh-huh.
And 8 beer. And then he's out there doing the whole. And then he shows up on Monday nights looking cooler than any fucker on TV.
Clean.
Ladies and gentlemen, Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
Look how fucking cool. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what we're talking. And Jack, look how jacked you look.
That's the best intro I've ever had.
Well, then your face shows you look so cool, and then look how jacked you look. Your right arm, the vascularity is literally from Ohio to Indianapolis. Hey, Troy, you're doing great. You've done great.
Troy. Thank you. Hey, it's you mentioned the 8 beer. It's all because of the 8 beer. I mean, let's go.
Okay. Yeah, Lamar Jackson's about to own that shit. I heard, Troy. That's what I heard. Lamar.
Hey, That'll be for another show.
I hope you guys get it sorted. I appreciate the fact that you have your business, by the way, because good tasting, light carb, light calorie beer is obviously something that everybody in this stage of existence, I think, is a fan of. So way to go, Troy. That's incredible stuff, especially from a football guy. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm I'm proud of it. We call it light beer made right. It's the healthiest, cleanest beer on the market. So pretty proud of it, and it's doing really well. We're in Texas and Oklahoma, so all good.
Oh, you're about to do the whole rock thing where you do this and then you build it up, and then some Goliath comes in and says, "We're kind of sick of you doing this whole song and dance," and then they offer you $1 trillion.
Yeah, here's $1 billion.
Hey, congratulations, Troy. You're gonna look so cool, man. You're going to look so cool there. All right, let's talk about Monday Night Football. Speaking of looking cool, that new kickoff was obviously going to be a big part of the conversation of last night's game. They even gave a display of what would happen if it was windy. A 12th player will come onto the field. What is your first takeaway from it? What are you hearing from some of the coaches? And how big of an impact do you think it's going to have this year, Troy? Kind of an open runway.
Yeah, I think it is going to have an impact. I mean, there's no question that it's a play that it just didn't really exist in recent years with all the touchbacks. So I understand it, why the league, and I think it's been good for the kickers. I mean, as you know, Pat, I mean, for so long they've been talking about maybe even taking it out of the game. And then it's like, well, what happens to the kickers? So, this makes the play relevant. I think the fans will have an interest in it. Last night, it probably there wasn't as much to it as what I was anticipating, but yet in talking with the special teams coaches, they were going to keep it pretty close to the vest and just try to evaluate players as much as anything else. I do believe that these special teams coaches have some ideas on what they want to do once we get into the regular season. They're just not going to show it. So what we saw last night, my guess is what we see throughout the rest of the preseason is going to look a little different from what we're actually going to see week one.
Troy, I know you're not a special teams guru, so the fact that you're giving this detailed of an answer, I appreciate the hell out of. I want to let you know that, legitimately, and thank you for the shout out last night. That was incredibly dope. But
and Pat, I'll tell you, I mean that because, one, you're a hell of an athlete. I mean, I follow you. I see what you do, and whether it's golf, basketball, you name it. So, and I think part of this deal for the kicker is he's got to be pretty adept at being able to put the ball where he wants to put it, and then also you've heard it as well that they've talked and the special teams coaches that we talked to leading up to this game. They mentioned that, yes, it is real that the kicker may not be the guy who kicks off because the kicker could have to be involved in the tackling. And, of course, you love doing that as well. So that's why I thought,
didn't love it.
Pat wishes these rules were in place back when he was playing.
Troy, I don't know how you handled getting hit. As quarterback, you guys take some massive shots. Anytime I was involved in any physical activity on that field, I was sore for 4 days. So I was that shit that you guys put up with is insane. And I think that's what people talk about. You got to get back into football shape. What that means is mentally, you have to get back to the point of being okay, just being incredibly sore from every single thing that happens out there. I think that's the real deal. Really?
Yeah, I'm wondering how sore Herb Street was after that hit that AJ put on him that I heard about yesterday. I mean, how long did it take for him to get over that hit?
Yeah, AJ, did you check up with him as a 15-year-old kid? Did you follow up with Herb Street after you templed him?
Hey, Kirk stayed in the game. There was no concussion protocol in that scrimmage, so Kirk stayed in the game. I wasn't aware that he was hurt until later on, until years down the road.
I got a text from Herb Street yesterday going, "Come on, man, come on."
Yeah,
come on, you're killing me. What a legend, Troy. I'm excited to see your kind of take on the kickoff as it goes, and obviously the rest of the season. AJ has a question for you.
Troy, how did you, as you got older in your career and have a couple rings or whatever, how did you approach camp, as a quarterback? What should some of these veteran guys, you hear the old cliche, hey, let's work on it, let's think of one thing we want to get better at every single day, all of that kind of talk. But what did you do, when you approached camp going in later in your career?
Yeah, quite honestly, AJ, same as what I did early in my career for that matter. I don't know if I was weird in this sense, but I loved practice. I mean, I loved camp. I loved going out and trying to get better. It obviously was a lot different, as you know, than what it is now. I feel like today everybody's playing by the same rules, but I believe that, especially those teams that I was a part of that were really good, and I think you would probably agree that, you know, the toughness and the grittiness of those teams was developed in camp. You know, we were having training camp in Austin, Texas, you know, 105 degrees and humidity and all of that. And I think there's a bonding that happens when you're going through all that. So it's much different, as we know. But you know, we played with the same guys for so long. We didn't have as much turnover as what we're seeing in today's game. And I was fortunate to play with some really great players that approached it the same way. And so for me, late in my career, the way I went about trying to get better was no different than earlier in my career, just making the best of each day and trying to fine-tune everything that we were doing.
Well, you obviously figured it out. Hey, when you wear your gold jacket during the Hall of Fame game, that's sick.
Yeah,
that's a cool thing.
Yes.
Like, hey, welcome to my house here. You guys are. I'm a quarterback here. You know, like that is what it feels like. You know, like it's an awesome thing to see, like the weekend celebrated, but also you be proud of the fact that you have that. Like I think
well,
that's like a cool thing.
You know, I'm glad you bring it up, Pat, and I know you're partly kidding, but
I am not. I'm not.
Quite honestly, you know, no one asked me to wear it. I did the Hall of Fame game a few years ago when Jimmy Johnson was going in, and I wore it then, but. It is a special weekend. It's a special group to be a part of. I'm honored that I was voted into the Hall of Fame and to be able to represent the Hall and wear it in last night's game for the Hall of Fame game. I don't get to wear it often. I wear it Hall of Fame weekend and for that broadcast. But yeah, I was thrilled to be able to do it.
No, man, I was not joking at all. I thought it was sweet. Like the Hall of Fame is hey, you know, I am a person that does not really, how do I say this? Acknowledge awards. Like, I don't think that, I assume I was screwed out of a few whenever I was a teenager. I thought I was at least. Yeah, and I just decided, okay, I hate all awards. I don't care about any of them. I don't care about titles. I don't care about shit. I don't want any of them. To hell with all of them. This is somebody else's opinion? Okay, well, fuck off is how I view it all. But like the Hall of Fame is like such a cool one because every human I know that's a superstar, every human I know that has made it and is big and has won a lot of these awards, like the Hall of Fame is the one that's like, okay, this is cool because you're back on a team. You're like voted on by the people who really love the sport. You're the ones who are going to be representing the sport for generations to come whenever they wonder how the NFL got to where it is. Like, I think it's a beautiful thing. And like Freeney going in this weekend, I can't wait to get over there and celebrate him going in. Like it is, he deserves it obviously, but it's a massive ordeal for everybody that gets in there. So I think it's incredibly sick.
Pat, I would tell you that, you know, I think you and I are in alignment on awards. And for that matter, I would say the same thing about stats. You know, throughout my career, anyone who looks at my stats would say, "Gosh, what? You know, how did this guy even get on the field, and how did he get into the Hall of Fame?" But I felt that throughout my career, it was really about winning, and I was proud of that. I was proud that we won. I was proud that after 12 years in the NFL, I was able to win 3 Super Bowls, and in doing that. You know, the way in which we played, I sacrificed some numbers, but when it was all said and done, I was given and bestowed the greatest individual honor that you can have, and that is to go into the Hall of Fame. So there's a lot of people,
good lighting,
as you both know, that talk about winning. It's all about winning, but as soon as they don't get their numbers, they're the first ones to bitch, and I don't have any tolerance for it. So. I'm proud of the fact that I got in and yet sacrificed considerably from a statistical standpoint. But I don't mind doing it. I love that we won, but honored to have been then recognized by the Hall of Fame.
Hell, hey, talk your shit, Troy.
Yeah.
You know? Absolutely. Because What are you supposed to do? Not hand the ball off to Emmitt Smith?
Yeah, come on.
Okay, so I'm supposed to be like pissed off that we're got Deuces back here doing his absolute thing, because we talk about that with Tom Brady. I think that was the big thing with Tom Brady is like he was a team guy, whatever it takes to win. Whatever it takes to win. I will absolutely do it. Took less money far before everybody else started doing it, started doing salary cap, all that stuff. And then he just won. And they were like, well, you know, he would take the same shit from Belichick that everybody else would take. It's like that's a trait. Not everybody has that. That is a bonus to have that type of humility.
No doubt.
Feels like Patrick Mahomes seemingly has it as well. Have you seen the quotes about him and the new quarterback contracts and how he said, I'd rather just win? They're potentially the first team to win 3 straight. Obviously, you understand how that world is and how hard that would potentially be. Feels like the next superstar, though, has the same qualities as all the greats of the past, right? Doesn't it feel like that with him?
Yeah, it does. And not because he's done it already. He's already, I feel that he's left some money on the table, knowing that he's going to have better players around him as a result of that. And obviously it's worked for them. And they do a good job of continuing to restock the shelves and bring in good players. And of course, Andy Reid, it's what they have going in Kansas City is special. And when you have a quarterback who's obviously as talented as he is, but yet as unselfish as he is, then it gives yourself a chance. And, you know, another guy that probably doesn't get talked about in that same light because he hasn't had the same success in the postseason is a guy who I'm very fond of right here in Dallas, and that's Dak Prescott. He, you know, what I respect so much about Dak, one is he's a great leader. He's a great person, but he's an old school guy in that he doesn't care about anything but winning. And it frustrates him beyond imagination that they haven't had more success in the postseason. And it's the only thing that's keeping him from really being mentioned with Pat Mahomes and some of the other greats.
I would love to see, you know, how Dak responds to everything that is said about him. If he is only determined and driven by winning whenever they lose, because it gets so loud. So loud. And it's always like, you know, Stephen A. obviously and the Dallas Cowboys fans have the relation that he has, and he's had, you know, the highest rated television show in sports for like the last 11 years. One of his big angles, one of his actual, like one of his things is like, Dak's going to blow it. Dak's going to blow it. So Dak works his ass off, just driven by winning only. And all he hears all year is he's going to blow it. Think about the amount of like, fuck you Dak has to have for everybody then. And then for it not to work out again and again. What if he breaks through, huh? What if Dak Prescott breaks through? Feels like it's a lame duck year down there, though, doesn't it? Hey.
Well, it does.
Doesn't it?
If he breaks through this year, I mean, I do believe he's going to be the first quarterback to $60 million. And
from Jerry or somewhere else?
Well, that's the question. And the longer this goes, the more I think he will be playing somewhere else. You know, I just if it continues to drag on and he plays great, and then the Cowboys come in late to say, hey, now we want to pay you. I don't know. I don't know where his head will be at that point. But yeah, so he. When you look at the numbers, if you didn't have the names and you just looked at stats, and again, I go back to I don't care about stats. I just want to see wins. But wins included, you would put Dak Prescott's numbers over the last couple of years along with Patrick Mahomes's. But it's what's happened in the postseason that has separated those two. And so that's where the whole organization has to be better. This isn't just on Dak Prescott. This goes back for the last 25, 30 years that the Cowboys just have failed to play their best football when the games have mattered most in January.
This past year, was the one, too. You know, I was just watching all those highlights, and I was reliving how we felt about the Cowboys last year because they're going to be on primetime. Yep. They're going to be talked about. You're going to see them. Last year, there was an entire train that I was on that was like, hey, it's different in Dallas this year.
I was on it.
They had a lot of.
I was on it. I agree, Pat. You know, they've had other teams in other years that were good, and I thought they were capable, but last year it just felt different. And quite honestly, it felt different in training camp. And so they then got into the regular season, and it just felt that it had the makings of a championship team. The locker room was tight. They all seemed to be on the same page. All the things, as you know, that are required to win it all. And they were positioned perfectly after the demise of the Eagles over the second half of the season to be put in the position that they were to potentially have 2 home games and then go to, probably San Francisco for the championship game, which is where it would have been. And then they don't get out of the first round. Jordan Love obviously does what he does.
Yeah.
That was a huge disappointment. And so I think it's hard to come back year after year. I think that's going to be the challenge for the 49ers. They keep knocking at the door, and how many times can you keep getting there and getting to the level that you have to get to? And then with the offseason, the way that it has gone for Dallas, there just seems to be a lot of negativity about what they did or didn't do this offseason. And it'll be interesting to see what this season looks like for them.
And then empty bleachers at training camp, Troy. And obviously, I know it's in California and the Chargers, Justin Herbert.
Uh-oh.
Is everything? Yeah, that one's plantar, right? Plantar. That's a real one. Plantar fascia. That's something in the foot. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know it holds people out. It's a broken something under something. That one's a real one. And I know, like in LA, the Chargers were a big time story. And when Schefter announces this, I think we're all bummed out because we all are eagerly awaiting Jim Harbaugh's return to the NFL sideline, and we're all pumped out how it would go. And now his guy, the guy over there, is seemingly going to be down for a bit. Herbert, Godspeed, buddy.
Yep. Good luck, Herbert.
Godspeed that entire thing. So I know the training camp is in LA with the Chargers are a story and the Rams are a story, and it's out in California, but like nobody there. That's pretty indicative of like the ride that maybe last year this is it, and then people being like, Has
it ever been like this? Has it ever been like this in Oxnard, Troy? Like I don't remember ever seeing stands this empty.
Ever for the Cowboys anywhere.
I'll be honest with you guys. I've not kept up with this one. This is the first I've heard about that. It surprises me, quite honestly.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if there's a reason for that or if they just simply didn't come. But that is
maybe traffic, Troy.
Yeah.
Maybe traffic.
Traffic.
That would be that's shocking, quite honestly, to me. And but I will say that if they win, they'll be back on that wagon for sure.
Yeah. Former Cowboy, Pac-Man Jones.
I've never seen Oxnard empty like that. But back to y'all conversation, I think Dan Quinn deserves some of this blame for Dallas playing like kind of bad at the end of the year. And I do think with Mike Zimmer in there, the defense will be 10 times better.
You played with Zimmer where at Cincy?
Cincy, yeah.
Everybody loves Zimmer, right? The place from except for offensive players on a team in which he's the head coach. Right?
Oh yeah, everything's gonna be done one way, the way he wants you to do it. Anything else, like he's not going for it. You're gonna play fast. You're gonna play a lot smarter, but like he's adamant about doing it the way he wanted to be done.
Excited to see Micah and everybody. That defense obviously incredibly talented, but you got contract conversations all over that roster, including at the head coach. Head coach is on his last year of his contract as well. Let's move to another contract that didn't happen anywhere in the NFL. Ty has a question for you, Troy.
Yeah, Troy. Obviously, this was a huge talking point, right as the season ended and all throughout the offseason. I feel like it's kind of hit the back burner a little bit, but it'll kind of come back to the forefront once the actual season starts. Are you surprised that Bill Belichick is not coaching a team this year? And do you think certain general manager or owners, I guess, will be more apt to kind of pull the trigger and fire a guy sooner because Bill Belichick is still available and presumably looking for a job?
I'm totally surprised that there were that many jobs that were open and Bill Belichick didn't land any of them. That is surprising to me, and I don't know that it's going to be easy for him to get a job, quite honestly. I mean, if he didn't get one this cycle, why would someone think that it's going to be easier the next cycle?
Troy,
I don't know.
Whoa, that's not what I heard. I heard legitimately, you're the first person that I think has ever said that. I think that I've heard because
I'm hoping he coaches. I'm a big fan of Bill Belichick's, but
we all are.
I don't know, but he didn't get one this year. So I don't know why would you think that he's automatically going? I think everyone thought he would have gotten one of those jobs this year. The fact that he didn't, why would you think then he's automatically going to get one next year? I don't know. I think part of the perception is real. I mean, clearly Bill Belichick was the guy in charge in New England. And I think there are a lot of owners that don't want to give up that kind of control or, found that whatever his demeanor is or whatever Bob Kraft has said about, his dealings with Coach Belichick and how that might influence an owner or general manager as to how they do things. I don't know. I just don't think it's a slam dunk. But I hope he gets a job. And I believe that he will, but I hope that he does because I want to. It's hard. I'm a huge Vince Lombardi fan. I read all kinds of stuff about Vince Lombardi, and there's some other really outstanding coaches, of course, over the history of our game. But it's hard to imagine anyone thinking that Bill Belichick's not the greatest of all time, but yet he has to go do it. And right now, that's Don Shula.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. I love what you just ended with there. And as you matriculated through your answer there, literally all I heard was, oh, that's a lot of valid points there. Like, why didn't he get the Atlanta Falcons job? Well, there was a lot of smoke that was being leaked. Well, maybe there was some people that didn't want to lose their jobs if Bill came in that were in different departments than just in the football coaching side of the entire thing.
Right.
Those were quickly, no, that's not true. That's not true. And then it came out things that the Kraft family is everything that you were saying that we all thought made sense. There was always a follow-up that isn't in there. But we're dealing with humans here. These are humans making these decisions. And Bill Belichick brings a presence wherever he is. We got to see a draft night. Yeah. Hey, we got to see a draft night, Troy. It was awesome. Him walking through every room. We went to a restaurant. He turns the corner. Every human in there. Doesn't matter how old they are. Doesn't matter where. Is that a Bill Belichick in a wild? It's like they're seeing Bigfoot walk by. It literally is like that. So I assume whenever he walks into some of these meetings and there's some people in control of an NFL team in certain positions, they know this Bigfoot will take my job if he wants to. Yeah. And it's he needs.
Yeah, and that's why I think that. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of Bill Belichick's. I personally like his style. Jimmy Johnson was the same way. I like being coached like that. And if it's just about can Bill Belichick help an organization win, he should have had his pick of places to go last year. But as you just said, Pat, there's a lot of people that maybe are somewhat insecure and don't want to have to deal with some of what he brings or give up some of what they want to control. And I think, as you know, egos are big in this business, and egos get in the way, and they want the credit. And so, will Bill help a team win? Absolutely, he will. And it just comes down to how much does an organization really want to win. Because there's not a better head coach in the history of our game than Bill Belichick.
Yeah. He can relate to the younger generation, they're saying.
Yes, he can.
On the internet. They're saying he can relate to the younger generation on the internet. They're certainly saying that. Living his best life. We can't wait to share Mondays with him, Troy. So we're going to be he's going to be joining us every single Monday. And from what I've been told from the people that are closest to him, they're wait until he kind of tells you what's going to happen in the Monday Night Football game. When he says, this is probably how this game's going to go. Allegedly, that is a thing of his. That's why he's been so good for so long. He's able to just project exactly what's going to happen. And it's if we get a chance to experience, I think that's why I like him doing all this shit that he's doing. He just announced his own show. I assume that's going to be a clip show where he's going to put out stuff or a podcast or whatever it is. He's doing Inside the NFL. He's doing our show. It's I'm very thankful that he's deciding to let it, this is a football brain that we've never heard from. Really?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, you get a look behind the curtain a little bit, and your viewers obviously will as well. And I will say that, we've had a lot of New England games over the years, and I've talked with Bill, and he will say, "Here's what I think the game will come down to," and invariably that's what it comes down to. I remember there was a game they were playing the Cowboys in Foxborough. And he said the weather was not going to be good. It was going to be really cold. It was going to be icy. He said the kicking game is going to determine this game, and we're going to make them handle the football. And that's exactly what he did. And the Cowboys didn't handle the ball very well, and it was a low-scoring game. Tom was still playing for him. And the Patriots, it was an important game for both teams. The Patriots won in a low-scoring, slugfest because of the conditions, but it came down to exactly what Coach Belichick said that it would. And so, yeah, he's going to have amazing insight. It's going to be fantastic for your show.
Hey, you guys crush in the booth. You know that, you and Joe. You guys are so good. First game last night.
Thank you.
Yeah, obviously you've been doing it for however many years. You've seemingly been alive post-football. But, you guys are good. You just picked up right where you left off, it seems like.
Yeah, it felt good. It did. That game, it's, you're talking about a lot of things that don't really matter or
What
that
are you
are
saying,
happening
Troy?
out on the field.
What are you saying?
Huh?
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
I don't know, but the cancellation, with the weather and all, not a bad idea.
Oh, jeez! Troy, I was loving it. The interviews. You and Joe are awesome. We appreciate you. We can't wait to listen to you all season on Monday nights. We appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, incredibly cool looking. Oh, he's gone.
All right.
Didn't want to hear it.
That's not no time for it.
Didn't wanna
Cool.
I don't have time. All right, get me out of here. I was gonna put over 8 again.
8,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I mean, the vein in his bicep might have hit the off button, not his finger. I mean, that dude is shredded.
You know how they have the autofocus? I don't know if you noticed a couple times. I think that vein actually tapped the screen.
It did.
And it got off. It got off focus for a little bit. He is so jacked.
It's absurd.
His Instagram.
Yeah, he's stacked.
His posture is phenomenal.
It's like Fowler.
He is like Chris Fowler.
They're cut from the same cloth, it feels like.
It does feel like that. Incredibly cool. They have to be, in every moment, they have to be able to handle.
Mm-hmm.
Troy has called so many games. Yeah. There's only, obviously, he can come as, I don't know how long has he been in the booth? How long has Troy Aikman been in the booth?
30 years.
I was going to try to.
I think he started in NFL Europe. I think he did games in NFL Europe when he first got out of the league to practice doing games, and then boom, here we go. When you hear Troy's voice, you're like, yep, here we go. This is a big game. We know it.
He started in 2001,
Yeah.
commentating. So 23 years he's been doing it. So
damn.
That's since I'm 14 years old. So yeah, most of my football memories, not that there isn't a few sparsed in before, but it's like Troy Aikman potentially was the voice of it. Then he had all the business success. 8's going to go huge. Already in Texas and Oklahoma, obviously. He's done good, man. He's done really good.
Crushes.
Him and Joe, good. Now, Joe takes a lot of heat, obviously. Joe's called a lot of moments that are great for a lot of teams, and then obviously he's called every moment that has been terrible for a lot of teams. So all of the fans of the teams in which they heard Joe Buck voice over the worst moment of their life don't necessarily love him.
Yeah.
And he's going to be judged accordingly. He knows that. Yeah, that's part of the job. But he's phenomenal at what he does.
And that's why, nothing against who ESPN's had for Monday Night Football for the last several years, but that's why they paid Buck and Aikman what they did. It's like, hey, we need the announcers to kind of be like a big draw and a big part of the show. And that was the first tandem they went to. It was like, hey, let's go get Buck and Aikman. These guys are worth it. They're obviously Nance and Romo, but these guys have been doing it together for so long. They've called so many big games. They are kind of the pinnacle of calling games right now.
Still like each other.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Definitely. Feels like they absolutely really get along. That's a huge thing, though. Obviously, you can kind of tell if guys, it's just if it's a strictly professional relationship, if you pay attention, you can tell.
Yeah, there's certainly a tone that you can hear throughout the entirety of the game. Is there more going on right now? You start listening. That's a good one, right? Moving on.
Yeah.
That's why, me and Michael Cole, I enjoy my time with Michael Cole so much.
Oh,
I enjoy it.
I think
awesome.
He does. I think he enjoys his time with you as well.
I can't wait. SummerSlam is tomorrow, and SmackDown is going to be incredible in Cleveland tonight. And then there's an open media event happening at 5 o'clock that I'm hosting alongside Michael Cole. It's like that wrestling world is so awesome, so much fun. You guys been in WWE 2K world.
Yeah. That hasn't been as much fun.
No.
But
What are you talking about?
the game itself.
Playing
the game itself. That's been a lot of fun. Kind of everything that came with it, per se.
Still?
That hasn't been a whole lot of fun. Oh, yes.
Yeah, the hour and a half yesterday was great.
It was great.
Without a doubt. No, it was so much fun.
What happened? You guys were champs. We were celebrating.
Still are.
Champ.
Yeah, not
still
were.
are.
Come on,
Still
Weird.
are.
So what's going on? Life is champ. You guys are on top. Marquee.
What's wrong?
Well, I guess we kind of knew it was going to happen, but you know what people are doing to our characters in the game.
Oh, really?
I suppose that kind of came with the territory. You knew it was going to happen.
Oh, are they getting creative?
Yeah, a little bit.
Real creative.
Oh, yeah?
A little bit.
Wow.
A little bit.
So you guys have just been bombarded with people doing stuff with your characters on there that you couldn't have seen coming?
Well,
You want to see yourself do the cool thing.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see myself unloading the clip and thank you.
6'3", 240 Ty Schmidt.
Exactly. And thank you to all the people who have just been sending clips of us just kicking wholesale.
Hell yeah, we need it.
Yeah, because that is a night, because, you know, for every one of those, there's about 150 of the other ones.
150 to 1?
I mean, just getting bombarded out there.
Tough ratio.
Just getting bombarded out there. You know, so but hey,
we're in the game. You're in the game.
Exactly. That's the price you pay sometimes.
Yeah.
You know.
You guys fighting Sami Zayn today?
We'll probably stay
in the
away.
arena. AJ, you're right. You're right. Men in the game.
That's right.
Bingo.
Men in the
now.
game. Give the speech. It's not about. They're not building a statue for these people.
No.
That have you guys.
No. They're not. They're not.
Block out the noise.
I didn't even think about how miserable that could be on the other
Oh,
side.
God.
I am just now realizing how miserable you guys actually are about what's happening.
Well, that's what I said. You know, I told you the other day. I was like,
I'm so sorry.
You know, Jordan Love signed that deal, and I was like, oh, thank God, I can. You know, this is what my mentions are going to be now. Like, hey, Jordan Love, he's the guy. And even like people saying like he's overrated, you paid too much. Like, whatever, I can handle that. That's fine. Didn't even scratch the surface. I mean, this is just all you see when you get on Twitter. It's just people calling you a big dumb dipshit. You suck. You know, saying you look like a pedophile. I've gotten a lot of that. Those are the only ones. I mean, there's a couple of those people who, you know, you maybe take a peek at, you know, your avatar before you're.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you know, at some point I thought it was going to kind of cease to exist, or at least come to, you know, at least be going like 15 miles an hour. We've been in the left lane on the highway the whole time, just kind of.
D-Buck said they're committed.
They are very committed.
Those fans are. Wrestling fans are committed. That was the first thing D-Buck said the other day whenever the game was announced. And hey, that's why we love them.
Yeah, bingo.
That's why we love them. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, a man who is a phenomenal businessman and a founder of ProFootballTalk.com, which is basically the baseline of everything happening in and around the NFL. NBC Sports, obviously on Football Night in America, has this paisan to break down the news of the day. He's an author multiple time. And ladies and gentlemen, the man who has been carrying the torch for the conversation about the Sunday ticket lawsuit against the NFL that resulted in $14.7 billion being paid and then $0.7 billion, $0.0 billion being paid. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Florio.
Gentlemen.
Hey.
Greetings.
So I'm confused. What happened here? Because I saw a situation with the UFC where the UFC and the people that were suing them for this antitrust thing for whatever it was for maybe running them out of business, they were in a lawsuit. Then they came together and they agreed to a fee of like $330 million. Both the plaintiff, the people doing the lawsuit, and I believe the UFC. They say, yeah, we'll come to an agreement. Cool. They got to get to court. They go to the judge, hey, we figured it out. We don't want to do this anymore. We're all good. We're getting $330 million. Judge says, this is going trial. That ain't enough. Over both sides, even the people that are doing the entire thing. Now we go on the complete opposite end of the spectrum where it is, how is that even possible in that first one? I have no idea how that's even possible if that's the person doing the thing and the thing, and then I have no idea. Yeah. But then this one too, it's like, I don't know how this is even possible either, and it's both ends of the spectrum. With the NFL one, they allegedly owed $14.8 billion out, and then all of a sudden the judge says, actually, I don't think that's the case. Is that what's happening? I don't understand how this works if this is the case. I genuinely have no idea how any of this type of shit works, which is why we have you on, sir.
Well, first of all, I want to say hello because as we learned this week, interviews can go off the rails quickly if someone doesn't say hello right out of the gate.
All right, yeah, you're right. And I did say hello, though.
Yeah, I'm glad to see we're all wearing black. It reminds me of the excellent line from the Johnny Cash movie Walk the Line when somebody says to him, what's with all the black? It looks like you're going to a funeral. And he says, maybe I am, which is just awesome.
No, I'm going to a celebration.
Here's what happened. And here's what happened on the UFC deal. When you have a settlement of a class action, a judge always has to approve it. I dealt with those. I lived those. A judge has to approve it because, the lawyers could just be looking for a quick score because they get a third or up to 40% of whatever the settlement is, and then all the members of the class get peanuts. The judge has to be sure it's fair. The members of the class have a chance to come in and say it's fair or it's not fair. So that's a normal step in the process, and this judge decided it's not good enough. In this case, here's what happened.
That sounds like bullshit to me.
The jury found that Sunday Ticket, as it's currently packaged and sold, is an antitrust violation. And the judge said there's more than enough evidence in the record to support that finding. So, plain and simple, Sunday Ticket, as it's currently constituted and as it's been for 30 years, violates antitrust law. The problem is setting damages. And what you have to do, because we know what the real world is with an antitrust violation. It's what everybody had to pay for Sunday Ticket. So you got to construct this fake hypothetical world where we figure out what would have been paid for Sunday Ticket but for the antitrust violation. And that's almost impossible to do. So the plaintiffs put that forward with expert witnesses that the judge decided were competent enough to testify at trial. He's the gatekeeper for these witnesses. And everybody knows ahead of time what they're going to say. And he let them do it. And then after the verdict, he says, oh, sorry, they're not good enough. I mean, what the hell? Kick them out before the trial and say, you better find somebody else or you got no case. He waited until after the trial, after the verdict, and he said, I never should have let these guys testify, which is really a crock of shit if you're any of the plaintiffs. And I mean, that's a legal term. I'm sorry. If you're any of the plaintiffs in this case, like, what the hell?
Crock of shit does sound like a legal term, just like the entire.
Sunday Ticket violates antitrust law, but we got no damages because the judge won't accept the evidence on what the world would have looked like if there wasn't an antitrust violation. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay, fascinating. I appreciate you wrapping that up in perfect timing. Have an incredible weekend. SummerSlam's tomorrow, so is the Hall of Fame. Enjoy it all. Cheers. Right on, Screws. So whenever you're talking, right on, okay? We're talking antitrust laws. We're in there. Mm-hmm. We're dancing. Yep. And then, right on the screws. Boom. Couldn't have been more, I don't think. If this clock is lined up perfectly, it should be pretty good. I felt pretty good there. So whatever you say, everybody knows what's going to be said. He has to approve what's going to be said, and then afterwards says he shouldn't have it. So what's trial for? I don't. So if everybody
the jury can hear it,
yeah.
I guess.
Is that then the judge? So then the judge knew what was going to be said. It was said. It convinced the jury, but then the judge said, after hearing it out loud instead of typed down, I don't think that's real. How does this just not on this particular case, but how these things happen in your world, because you said you were there. Judges just have the ultimate, they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and how, is that how this goes?
Well, pretty much. Federal judges can't get fired. They have jobs for life. Now, they can have their rulings overturned on appeal, and that could happen here. The reality, though, is I think in this case, the judge decided, we'll just let the jury figure this out. Maybe the jury will reject this. Maybe the jury will come back with 0 or a verdict for the NFL, then I don't have to do anything. So he let the case play out. He wasted everyone's time for a month, tons of money that both sides had to spend. And now, after the verdict, he throws the whole thing out. And it's not even a new trial. It's not even a mulligan. I mean, at a minimum, let the plaintiffs go back and try to prove damages again in a fresh trial. He slammed the door on all of it. And now their only recourse is to appeal to the Federal Appeals Court for the Ninth Circuit, and that'll take a couple of years, and we'll figure out what they have to say, and it's a roll of the dice as to who the judges even are when we get to that level.
Okay, so obviously you'll keep an ear to the ground on all of that and inform us. We appreciate that. Does that mean Jerry Jones is going to spend money now? Right?
Corner chicken.
Wasn't that
yeah.
I read that.
He'll find another reason not to.
Oh, geez, Florio. Jeez Louise. Hey,
I don't understand it, because they always end up paying anyway. Why don't they just go ahead and pay? If you pay CeeDee Lamb before Justin Jefferson gets paid, you're going to pay him less. You wait until after Justin Jefferson gets paid, you're going to pay him more. You pay Dak before all these other guys get paid, you're going to pay him less. Now as it stands, you're going to pay him more. They always wait, and it always blows up in their face.
Well, it happened with Dak in his last contract. The way it ended up being a lot more than what it could have been. I mean, this is just seemingly the Dak Prescott Dallas Cowboys story. But we just talked to Troy. Troy Aikman thinks that there's a chance Dak's playing for another team. And Dak has even mentioned, yeah, I've seen and thought about the days of playing for another team. It's a crazy time in the NFL. We appreciate you covering it all, Paisan. When's the next book?
September 3rd, Son of Mine. Pre-order on Amazon for $4.99. I'll send you a box of them. You can throw them on the fire or whatever you want.
Absolutely.
We don't do fires.
Book burn? Maybe if we need it. What if we need a fire?
Yeah, you're right. There could come a time where there's no electricity. We got nothing, and we need a fire. We need some kindling.
Hearing weird sounds in broadcast.
Son of mine. Bam, we talked. What was that sound?
That's it. I mean,
last night there was like a sound a lot.
Yes, yes. It sounded like somebody was pulling on a hose. You know when the hose is on the thing and it makes that big squeak. It was happening all night long.
Yeah, I thought there was a chance maybe it was an earpiece near a microphone because that can create like a static sound in there. But I don't know who it is. When you're in that high school stadium, they're in that high school stadium doing that, and they're doing their full broadcast. That's an interesting every single year. I thought it was a good game. Thought it was a great game. We appreciate you, Florio, for all the coverage, keeping us smart.
Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Florio, founder of Florio.
Yeah, Florio.
All right, some news around the NFL before we get out. Hey, let's go to Hammer Dahn. Hey, Tone, let's get an Olympics update here and what we need to look forward to maybe this weekend, pal.
So starting today, 2:30, we're back in the pool. The men's 50 free, starring Caleb Dressel, goes for gold there. We got the women's 200 back. We have two competitors in there going for gold, and then we have the men's 200 individual medley with Carson Foster going for gold there as well. That's later today. Golf going into the weekend. We got a tie at the top between Hideki, Tommy Fleetwood, and Xander Schauffele. They're all at 11 under. John Rahm at 9 under. So you see Scotty down there rounding out the top 10. It is a nice little leaderboard for the golf going into the weekend. Which will be awesome. And then, as we said, there's the women's 100, men's 100. I think that is Saturday as far as on the track is concerned. It's going to be a great little weekend out there.
Hey, great work, Tom.
Go.
Thank you.
Go. Up, Tony.
Great work, Tom.
Thank you.
Really good stuff.
What a big deal. What a big deal for the NFL to have that overturned.
14.8
A lot of money.
Yeah, just as
it all happened so quickly, I feel like, too.
And he said a lot of money was wasted, not on the media coverage. There was next to no.
Yeah.
There was next to no media
He
coverage.
was the only one.
Yeah, just him.
He was literally.
Most people have no idea. Majority of people have no clue that happened.
He was on that drum, just like, we're coming down from the top rope.
That Purdue drum.
I think they're going to lower the salary cap like last week, and now, boom, over. See it.
The answer is zero. Yeah. And then on the flip side for the UFC, it's like, not enough. Then you go the other way. It's like, what the fuck?
People are like, no, we're good.
How's this work? So it's just one person? And once again, this is the sports dude situation. And I'm sure there's going to be people that are watching and like, this dipshit doesn't understand how this goes. I don't know how litigation and these lawsuits go. I had no idea. Just if you're in that seat.
It's not enough.
Yeah, fucking.
I thought they would come together if the judge can somehow shut them down, but then they still have to come to an agreement and they would, they would settle on something.
It's like the NFL. It's Goodell.
Yeah.
Because like people can make decisions, and ultimately, it's Goodell going because there was that third-party investigation going on that the NFL hired. It was the woman who did the Washington. I forget her name.
I can't remember her name.
I do
either.
apologize. She was doing the investigation. She was the judge, the jury, everything for. I forget what the situation was. Pretty big deal though, massive ordeal. I forget the exact situation.
It was Deshaun.
Yeah. Deshaun.
Okay, yeah, the Deshaun Watson. She was doing all the interviews, everything, the investigation, and then she was going to be the one that was going to make the ruling and decision, and then ultimately that was going to be it. It's kind of how it was leaked, and then we learn slowly. It's like, hey, if Goodell, we know how this goes. If there's a chance if Commissioner Goodell doesn't like it, he'll be able to return it. Yeah. We learned that, but then Goodell came out and was like, maybe it's written that is the case, but this is not how this is going to go, and then it ended up being like that. So I didn't know that's how all those litigation lawsuits work. That's a wild thing.
Makes sense
for millions and billions of dollars.
When they say one person is judge, jury, executioner.
Yeah, but there is a jury though.
There is, but when you say in that context, it's still always one.
And then how about in the UFC one? The plaintiff is like, "We're good.
Yeah, this is good.
No, you need more."
They're probably trying to spin that the UFC was strong arming them into settling.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Does that make
that's why is that illegal? Then?
Yeah.
Is that jail time then? In that like intimidation of a?
Well, and those people.
Isn't that jail time?
But they agreed to it.
Yeah, dude, I don't understand any of how it works. I think we're all learning a lot about a lot.
Yes,
it's a lot of mumbo jumbo.
And then you get
it feels like.
It does feel like it, doesn't it? 14.8 billion to zero. That's a lot of mumbo.
It's a pretty big swing.
That's a big mumbo jumbo.
Yeah,
AJ, that's big. To Bruce's point, it's like Jerry Jones was like, I got a peek in the future. You remember? I do this a lot. I got a peek in the future a little bit more than everybody else. I don't know if you know, we had this little thing going on down in L.A. I was the only one to testify, so maybe maybe I'm kind of tipping my hand and tipping the lead where it's headed. Nobody else really knows about it. Think about that before you ask me to drop fucking $500 million. Let's see, huh? We got 14 bill potentially going the other way.
So maybe he signed CD today.
Celebration.
That'd be sweet.
I mean, why not?
Want $200 million?
Boom.
Why not?
Micah, come on in. You want $150 million up front? Got it.
I mean, $72 million a home game. It's not as if he's not going to get that 8
Was it
times.
72 or 70? I forget.
70, yeah, 70 something. He's going to get
home
that
game.
per home game.
Remember, we learned that because during COVID, if your team was the reason why a game couldn't happen, like too many COVIDs, you would have to pay a fine of what the home game was worth to the other team. And then the list came out, and it was like Dallas Cowboys, $77 million every weekend. It's like, oh shit!
Kidding me?
And then you got everybody else like way down there. It's like Jerry's. Maybe I have a little bit of a tip on where things are going, where they're not headed to.
Maybe that's what he's seeing.
What, with Oxnard?
With no fans, yeah. All of a sudden, that 70+ millions going down to
Taking a bath
everybody
in
else.
Oxnard.
We just had a little thing in L.A., and let me give you a little heads up. The questions that I was being asked, I don't think people like me right now. So there's a chance the Dallas Cowboys are going to be down a little bit.
For shoot.
We spend a lot of money. We got big yachts, and we take out loans on these things because we're using other people's money, not our own, obviously, because we're smart and we're bazillionaires. But not as much money is going to be coming in over the next couple of years. These guys are asking some mean things. They were bringing up some terrible stuff. What do you think was asked of him in there? I
would love to know. But I think, didn't Florio kind of refute the fact that Jerry was the only one that had any inside track? I think I read something where Florio's like, he's not the only one that.
Yeah, but I like that if that is the case, which I assume other people do have an inside track on stuff. Jerry is probably a part of a team, though, that does it, that he's using that as open leverage.
Oh, yeah.
Like I know what the future looks like.
You don't.
So, sorry.
Shut up.
Can't pay anybody. Well, you got 4 people that need a lot of money. Oh, that's crazy, because I got Looking Glass. Here's tomorrow, bitch. We don't got enough money.
It's a different world.
Jerry's a beast.
He is.
Yes.
Just an absolute beast, dude.
That's why they always went to Oxnard, though, because Jerry, the Cowboys are international. People all over the world love him. And I think Oxnard was just a huge fan base they have, and everything's about money. But now, Jerry's got to be rethinking, do I bring this thing back to Dallas?
I think they should. I mean, you can't.
They were in San Antonio a few times as well, where they were practicing.
Yeah, that heat. Troy brought.
You're right.
Were you guys in Oxnard every year you were there?
Yeah.
How? Because we saw in Hard Knocks, there's
Oxnard
apartments.
for a long time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The apartments, the whole setup's already there, right?
Field right there in the back.
Locked away? Like you guys are all locked away in an apartment? Where do you all...
We got the whole village. There's nobody in there except the Cowboys and the Cowboys staff and everybody.
Oh, so teams will go to universities and shit for their training camp to get away, You guys went there to get away. It wasn't just for showcase.
Right.
Okay, got it. So this was Dallas Cowboy team camp.
Yeah.
This is initiation, earn your stripes type shit too.
Yeah.
Go through Oxnard.
Yeah.
And then now there's no fans there.
There wasn't no fans on that picture.
Whenever you were there.
When I was there?
Packed. Really?
Talking about a game.
Yeah.
Not one day it was less than 25,000 people out there.
At Hard Knocks?
Yeah.
That they did? There were so many people in that Hard Knocks season.
Crazy.
But
remember, we always used to see clips, though, the fights, Pat. Remember, there was always a fight early on, or the Cowboys would have a joint practice, and there'd have a huge fight, and it would always come over to where, the chain link fence, when they were fighting right next to fans. I feel like every year we saw one of those.
Yeah, it's
not this
I've
year.
never seen it like that. It's normally like a party.
People, it's a celebration.
Weird.
It's an annual tradition.
Yes.
And then they just said, no, we're not going?
Yeah, no thanks. Cowboys suck. Fuck them.
Well, that's
what they said.
Or did Harbaugh come in and cut too many promos? And
Could have.
Yeah,
Jerry
maybe.
was good on the mic, but we got a new promo in town.
Yeah.
And this is Jim Harbaugh guy. He was tested for the first time about an injury on how he would respond because just a few days ago, he read from an index card a quote that he would give, in his words, for the rest of the season, anytime he is asked about anybody's injuries other than his own, other than his own, as the head coach of the football team. Anytime he was asked on a press conference, he read an index card of answers that he could give. He's being tested for the first time with a Justin Herbert injury. Here's Coach Harbaugh.
With the injury, did it happen on a specific play in yesterday's practice?
Not qualified to know when it happened. Was evaluated last night and diagnosed last night, And then now we're following the instructions of the doctors.
And we're working through it.
Was he dealing with any pain in the foot previously, like in the spring or in training camp?
Like I've told you before, I'm not qualified to diagnose, and I'm not qualified to know what somebody's feeling. Obviously.
You said a couple days ago, you said that you do get updated from the medical staff about what's happening.
Yeah, you asked me how he was feeling. You asked me to jump in.
Did you get any update from the medical staff?
I just refer you back to the statement, and that's the best I can do. I thought it was really thorough.
It's working.
Such a beast.
Obviously, bummed out for Herbert. We all are. He is as well. But boy, if this is how these jousts are going to be all year, welcome back to the NFL, Coach Harbaugh.
Good to have you.
It's great to have you.
Credit to the follow-ups. The guy had some good follow-ups for him.
Yeah, the local writers, the beat writers, you're going to have to bring your shit. Because as you're asking your question, you could see him, you said it, thinking he is figuring out, all right, how do I ruin this guy's question pretty much. And once I just refer to the statement, I thought it was pretty thorough.
Yeah.
That's from a couple days ago. Yeah. Hey, just Monday. What if he starts giving the date? Like, I answered this question on Monday.
July 31st, I kind of covered this.
So why don't we just
refer to
Came
that?
down nice.
I cannot
About
diagnose
feelings.
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah.
Now you're asking me to dive into his feelings, he started saying. Do you think he's going to do this for every question or just injuries?
This would be great. This would be great. This would be the new Bill Belichick if he does this.
Yeah, Bill was asked, how does the team get better one time? And he said, we need to get better on first downs. We need to get better on second downs. We need to get better on third downs. And then, we need to get better on fourth downs. And it's like, think about the person asking that question. Like, how do you get better? Well, you are certainly not getting an answer for that.
Yeah, no chance.
There is no chance that I'm telling anybody anything at this exact moment. And I like that Harbaugh's setting a precedent right here. It's like, hey, this is how this is going to be. This is how it's going to go. We would like to let him know it's incredibly entertaining, AJ. And I bet his team is going to fucking love. They played that clip and did the exact same thing that we did. And then when he walked into the team meeting, I'm assuming one of them said, like, hey, great press conference. Like somebody said it. Like that is a moment for that entire squad. I think he's earning their trust over through all of this. And I assume in the alternate case, they're coming together. Harbaugh is a football team builder, man, legitimately. I wish I could have played for that guy, AJ.
Yeah, we hear culture thrown around all the time. He feels like a guy that thinks about it like every single second of every day. Like, how can I make my team better? But I think some of these journalists, though, like they gotta shake it up a little bit or try to get him off his game. Ask him about his history. Remember, he was very open about talking about his injury past or how he's feeling. So somehow phrase it like, go through the old injury reports back when he was a player. How's your old AC joint in your left shoulder that I know you popped in '97? And then kind of get him going.
You had a shoulder, right? Mm-hmm. How's that? We still tight a little bit, or how do we feel in the shoulder? Shoulder's great, actually. Yeah, got out with the dog yesterday. Is there anything better than get out with the dog? I mean, I had a tennis ball and I threw it, and it felt like I was back in the RCA Dome in Indianapolis.
Remember that?
Do you remember that? They used to say he used to pipe in noise. They didn't pipe in noise. They played football. The dog gets just like what he would go into off the. And then when I got the ball back, I was like, that was a pretty good throw. The shoulder's pretty good because it had been hurt. And then the things that he's just so comfortable. I've never seen somebody more comfortable in a position. And it was on the biggest display after one of the most serious accusations can be made of somebody. Like Harbaugh is considered a cheater, which is the worst thing you can call somebody like Jim Harbaugh, because he's football guy, football guy. Hey, you're a cheater. That is not something that he would want to be known. Captain, he does not want to be known as that. Then he started doing interviews, and it was just he was like, I know what the truth is. It's seemingly how he was acting. Yep. And then we were hearing promos from him, telling stories, and he would talk about the chicken and the yard bird, and then actually I have a completely different opinion on these chickens.
Did a 180 on the chickens.
Mm-hmm. High production. Low maintenance.
They're great.
We're looking for more chickens, he said. I was completely right. That's happening while he's being accused of like one of the biggest cheating scandals in college football history while he's on a run for a national championship. It's like, this guy's a football guy through and through. And I am so pumped that he's back in the NFL. He has to win a Super Bowl, right? That's what everybody would consider a success, this comeback too?
For sure.
Yeah.
That's what they would. I'm not saying me. I'm thinking he's Hall of Fame already. Whatever. Where?
He definitely is. But with Herbert having already been to a Super Bowl, his winning percentage, what he did at Michigan, like that. I mean, yeah, I think that you would consider it a failure if he didn't win a Super Bowl.
Not
at some
this
point.
year.
No, at some point. At some point.
Sucks about Herbert. Plantar's a real deal, right? Plantar fasciitis.
Yeah, it hurt too.
Have you ever had it?
Yeah, I don't know how bad
Bottom.
it is.
Isn't it the bottom of your foot?
Bottom
Pat?
of
Is that what
it
it
is
is?
right here in like the cut, like
the arch.
Where the arch is right there. It's
like a strain of something, right?
Yeah, and then depending on how bad it is, you can put the shoe lift in there so it don't have that much pressure on it.
Nice.
But if it's bad, you got to sit. You got to get off of it for at least 3-4 weeks.
Oh man.
So he's
2 weeks in a boot, man.
Yeah.
Doctors have recommended approximately 2 weeks in a boot, followed by a graduated return to play.
That ain't that bad. That ain't too bad.
I don't think so either. We got how many days till NFL season?
34.
14
You just
days.
don't want it to be. You don't want it to be a thing that he has to deal with throughout the year. So yeah, they're trying to knock it out and hey, get him ready for week 1.
Yeah, they're going to want to fully recover this thing.
Yeah.
This is like when people have groin injuries, like groins, like let's just get this back fully healthy because groin is something that can linger if you tweak it, just linger forever. Plantar feels like the same exact thing on the bottom of your foot. That's a small thing probably. Yeah.
Hammy.
Just like that, hamstring. All that, it feel the same. Because when you get it all the way back, you think you have it all the way back, and you ain't 100%. You know certain moves, then you tweak it again. You're out another 4 weeks. Little muscles.
I ripped my hip flexor when was that? A month and a half ago?
Yeah. First week of July.
Are you fully back yet?
That's the first time I've ever ripped anything.
Really?
Yeah.
And I can't touch my toes. Like I'm not flexible at all. Played soccer, a lot of running, obviously, and that.
No hamstring?
Never.
Never.
Can't
Look.
I don't know how it has happened. I've always just said like tight muscle. It's like a thick rubber band. You know, it just goes faster. You know, that's why I'm able to kick the ball so hard. And then I was getting like, so I had terrible technique because technique is like be super flexible and like go through it. I was just like powering through everything. So the knees end up getting blown out in that entire thing. But those injuries, like when I ripped the hip flexor, it felt like a slingshot like hit me in the thigh. Like I never felt that before.
Yeah.
Then I ripped my hamstring in here. Sprinting in there. It's like I'm old as shit and I've never experienced this. I couldn't imagine playing and having that feeling happening. And then like, oh, we're in the middle of the season. So like, are we coming back? Like I was thinking like 4 days out from that thing, how I felt. 8 days out, how I felt from it. It's like, that would be like 2 weeks, 2 games potentially if you hurt that on the wrong day.
Yeah. Imagine how I felt when I ran that 40 and I pulled my hamstring.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine. It's terrible, dude. We're old. We are so old.
Yeah.
It is but like gearing how long the return is and how many games you miss, it has like long-term, because if you re-injure that thing, you can talk like 10 weeks. It kind of happened with baseball.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout, kind of, right? Seemingly, it kind of happened where it's like, if you don't take care of it, that's
Christian Wilkins, right? Hammy with Christian Wilkins kind of hampered him throughout the whole year, I feel like. Was that last year or this past? I don't know when it was.
And they've never really figured it out either, right? There's just like stem and it'll grow back. And then
I think how some people move, how you're built, how everything, like they're more prone to it, obviously. I don't know. I mean, everything plays. Nutrition, hydration, genetics are a gigantic part of it.
Allegedly, all of that. I mean, like all of it. Because like, was I super hydrated? That's why, I don't know. I don't think I was any more hydrated.
That's why I think genetics are a big part of it. Like some people are prone to it. Some people like pop their hammies a lot. They're obviously, a lot of super fast guys will do that. But I don't know. Like some guys cramp. Did you play with some guys that cramped really bad all the time?
Full body cramp guys, yeah. Yeah, I wonder why some people, I guess that's because we're all different.
That's right. Yeah. Well said.
And this show's different because, we're just bullshit about sports and everything that is surrounding it. Yeah. And we'll continue to do so for as long as people will have us. We're striving to unify everybody legitimately because that's what we feel like sports are. But also every once in a while we gotta say, oh, whoa. I love the opportunity to do this every day, as do the boys. It is an actual dream job, working with dream people. And as long as you'll have us, we'll continue to do it. And I hope you have the best weekend that you've ever had in your entire life. Why? Because it's the next one. Why? Because we're closer to NFL season kicking off. We also have the Olympics happening. Tone, in Hammer, Dahn, time. Any corrections today?
Boys,
Perfect day. That's what
Clean sheet.
Feel good Friday.
So AJ just said Christian Wilkins. He meant Christian Watson, but we knew that.
You're exactly right.
Oh, boom.
Good correction.
Thank you, Tone. That's why you're here.
We're lucky to do it. I'm lucky to do it alongside a great group of people in the back. Great work, boys.
Work, boys. Yeah, boys.
In the graphics department, what a week out of you guys.
What a week.
Hell yeah.
What a week. What a week.
Incredible week. That was a good week out of that little corner. What's that corner called?
Some people refer to it as Dipshit Island.
There's a lot of names like that.
It's
for it.
Dipshit Island.
Yeah, I got a few more.
There you go.
No.
Moxie saying.
What else?
I'm a
It's
resident
hard
member.
work.
you got?
I call it Hard Work Island.
I like that too.
It's called Hard Work Island.
Hard Work Island.
Has to be. That's part of the whole thing.
HW Island.
That's right. Shout out to everybody that stopped by the show this week. How about Troy Aikman with those sweet glasses?
Yeah.
Legend.
Yeah. Are those prescription? Or just sweet glasses?
Jordan
Both,
Davis.
Both. I think it's both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sees better, looks better. Okay, that's a win-win. Let's go sightseeing better than anybody else. I'm excited for Troy Aikman this season. Seemed jacked up.
Oh, yeah.
Very.
They got a good slate.
He doesn't do interviews. He doesn't really do many, Don't really see him much.
Right.
I have no idea how many requests we've put in for Troy Aikman to stop by the program.
Fair amount.
Fair amount. Fair amount.
Yep.
Like, hey, bub,
Please.
come on. This would be a perfect
Did
time.
we ever figure out how
us.
that Sami Zayn fan got in here?
You're right. Shout out to Braun Breaker for breaking that person in half. That Sami Zayn fan that snuck in the back door.
Loser.
What's that all about? How's that person doing? Saw it in half. Wow. Chris Angel, maybe. Need that.
Yeah.
Chance.
Chris Angel liked the post the other day. Shout out Chris Angel. Good to see you.
Love you, Chris.
He's still doing the show?
Absolutely. It's bigger, better than ever. I think he's
Like
teamed up
12,
with
probably
Circus.
12 shows a week.
Yeah, wherever he is.
Yeah, 3 a day for 4 days a week. Yeah. Then he takes 3 days off and goes and lives.
Yep.
It's Chris Angel, baby. That's Chris Angel football.
Exactly.
Amen.
When are they going to put him back in a Raiders game?
This year. Season opener. Home opener.
He's playing D tackle next to Wilkins.
Boom. Shout out Chris Angel.
sweet.
That'd be Chris Angel.
There we go.
He's wearing football pads. You can't, or football pants. You can't see them all, but we appreciate that he bought into the.
NFL logo, even football pants.
Yeah, well,
Mark Davis gave those to him.
Yeah.
And then his
that
logo.
A.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they're putting that A on all the Raiders uniforms this year.
Oh, sweet.
That'd be so cool on that D line.
What if he did sponsor their practice jerseys? Everybody has the practice jersey
Helmet
sponsor.
patch.
Mind Freak right on the, yeah.
Like a bumper sticker.
That'd be so sick.
I mean, that'd be good marketing.
He's a weapon, dude. Chris
best.
Angel's a weapon. That D line's going to be very good.
Very fun.
Holy fuck, are they going to be so good? They got 2 of them now. There was like 2 of them in the league. And now, of these types, like very publicly, these types, pest, 100 miles an hour,
Shit talking.
100% of the time, like every play, yeah, talking, bugging, everything. Oh, now they're together. It's like, and they can play every snap alongside of each other.
Yep.
And they help each other. Could you imagine that side of that offensive line that week? Those 3?
Nightmare.
Oh my God.
Bub Spillane behind him.
Jeez Louise.
Just pain everywhere.
Let alone pain. Those are the mental. Just the mental. An offensive guard is going to be sitting in between a center that has Christian Wilkins, probably shaded a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Crosby on this side of him. And then a tackle that is looking out at a potential safety or corner that's coming there. So I either got Wilkins coming this way or I got Crosby potentially on the outside shoulder here. And then what if they decide just to both? And then all of a sudden you're...
Good luck.
And then they're telling you. And then you're on the ground. And all of a sudden you're the biggest, softest piece of shit that's ever played football.
That's right.
And then you got to get up and here we go again. And that's for 60 plays, 55 plays. Like that, even that mental part of the game, they signed in the offseason. Nobody's talking about these Raiders because the ball throwing situation.
Bingo.
But Gardner Minshew is a dog.
Saying he might not even be the starter.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near season time. But
They're also pulling at the tail of Mahomes, so.
yikes. That's a tough division. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is so good at football.
Yes, he is.
I appreciated Troy being like, yep, love Patrick. Oh, he's very good. See also, Dak Prescott. $60 million a year, Dak. 60,
I know.
60 million.
And he's not sure it's coming from Dallas.
So that'd be 3 years, 180 million?
Vegas. Yeah. Vegas written all over it.
Oh, man. Vegas. That'd be so cool.
Preach.
New York.
Which
Definitely
one?
not New
Football
York.
Giants.
Oh, Dak in division?
If he wants to piss off Jerry a little for not paying him after he destroyed his leg on
How
a
about,
franchise tag.
how about that Mara guy going, I don't know. Should we?
That guy on the couch is going to have to get up at 5 a.m. again.
Palpitations.
I mean, Mars never stepping bad foot in there. That was just for the cameras. But
What?
for sure.
I don't-
Without a doubt.
Mars.
I don't get that sense. I really
Me
don't.
neither. He looked very comfortable in there.
Did
He walked
he?
in there and was very much himself.
Yeah.
Did you see him a few times?
Yeah.
Just you got to be very comfortable in a place if you're just going to be like, oh boy. You're not walking into some stranger's office doing that.
Yeah,
Showing
true.
he cares. Showing he cares.
I think he like personally extended Danny Dimes.
Really?
Oh boy.
He was like
by
sitting
far.
at an elevated position too. He was like sitting on top of a dresser or something at one point in that office.
AJ noticing that. AJ noticing that is awesome.
So he's very comfortable, obviously.
Yeah. And his kid was there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were in the room.
And the nephew as well as like head of personnel or something.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah, you know, the nepotism throughout the building is something.
Bruce, that's our Giants.
I'm just saying, Bruce. I'm just saying, let Joe Shane cook. All right, just let him do whatever he wants.
He was letting him cook. Remember, he was like, "Bah, here the Eagles are out."
They did. Yeah, I mean, they did. John Mara just talked about it actually.
I appreciate him. It's being documented. He let Joe cook, but at basically every single turn, he was.
Are you sure?
Oh my God.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Oh, I can't believe that's what we're. All right. I mean, I guess if you want
Sure. I'm not gonna be able to sleep.
If you want to cost my company, just I don't know, probably what fucking
A lot of money.
100 million.
Okay.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
All right, Joe. Thanks. Yep. Not trying to run a business here at all. Just trying to win football games.
You know how popular he is.
That was every scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every scene he was in. I didn't see. Was there one where he was not in distress?
No.
Is he just a warrior full time? That has to be hard. You got $1 billion. You're on a team, bub.
He was jovial at training camp. They were laughing, talking.
What'd you see? When was that? That was on Hard Knocks?
No, that was just like
Social
the
media clip?
Yeah, social media footage.
How long was that? How long was that clip?
That was probably 30 seconds, but it does seem like John is in solid spirits.
Okay, I hope so. That was tough to watch. He was going through it.
Well, I mean, he's got his buddies have alarms on their phones to text him like, "Hey, your team still fucking sucks" every time, every other hour.
I do appreciate. I do appreciate that.
Bono to bozo.
I appreciate that he came out and said that. I am sick and tired of telling all my billionaire friends why my business is the worst one out of the bunch. We stink all the time. So we're going to try to get good. That is literally what he came out and said.
Mm-hmm.
And then they spent a bunch of money, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now we're back in the same spot. I do wonder how he feels about this particular team. Can the Giants go? I'm seeing some highlights.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like every team, you see things that make you say, oh,
Yep.
oh, maybe. And then there's a clip like 4 or 5 minutes later that you scroll by and it's like, oh shit, this team sucks, dude.
Yes.
And then if your algorithm doesn't feed you the other side, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
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 Swayed.
Yeah, you're going to be.
happens.
You know they're
That's how it
keeping
happens.
stats in training camp now. Did you
What?
see those tweets?
Who's doing that?
Just every team. You know,
There's people.
I mean,
Team, you mean the
JJ McCarthy
media?
is actually ahead of. I saw yesterday Mahomes and Josh Allen in touchdowns in training camp.
Yeah, he's thrown 18.
Damn.
That's incredible.
Justin Fields has
And Patton
28
goes,
total
or-
touchdowns and 2 interceptions in training camp.
How many?
28 total touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Sound like y'all got your starting quarterback.
Well, now that was I was just I've
How do
seen
you
a
feel
lot
about
of
that?
those.
How do you feel about
I
that?
like it. I love it.
You would start Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're like known Steeler hater.
True.
No, like honestly, like not being a hater.
You're
I-
just being pundit here.
Yeah, I would start Fields. Fields have a better upside. Like rest upside, we already seen. I think that's just me personally.
He's back in shape. He's been boxing again. He's been boxing again. Russell Wilson's been boxing again, and he is unlimited. So I think what they're thinking is, who came on? Lombardi? Was it who came on and said that Justin Fields outside one-on-one we're okay, but obviously the defensive situation, Lombo said, is allegedly still the case, which in Chicago, I saw electric plays out of Justin Fields with the Chicago Bears, but for one reason or another, it didn't work, and it was always with the arm allegedly. And then we watch the throws he makes, it's like, oh, and then Dan Orlovsky comes in, it's the quick twitch, it's like the going through the progressions as quickly as other people. He's not built like that. He's a little bit more long, drawn out. Whatever the case, Artie Smith has been able to draw up some offenses in the past. If he's able to utilize what Justin Fields has, what nobody else has, which is a size, power, and speed. Because once you just got, look at this, watch this. That's in the rain.
He's tough too.
And then he's out. And he plays like that every single play. It's like, What a good signing by the Pittsburgh Steelers with trade with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields over there. Did Russell Wilson get Wally pipped by Justin Fields?
Uh-oh.
At a job that he, never started at before because of a calf injury whenever he was pushing the sled, working too hard. We shall see. You got to feel good about the situation over there, though, Tone.
Yeah, I would just like it to be decided. I'm tired of having to flip-flop in my brain, snip, snap, snip, snap. I was in on Justin Fields when they traded for him. Now I was all in on Russell Wilson because he had the pole position, and now I got to be all in on Justin Fields again.
So you're saying every time you go all in on the other one, you quietly to yourself bury the other one, so it's hard to get past that?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just how my brain works. That's just all I can do. So next week when Russ is the starter and I got to go back then, it's exhausting.
I've already talked about how much better Justin Fields is. He's younger and what his future is. I've already done that whenever I was selling myself last week on this young gun who has something to prove versus Russell. And then all of a sudden Russell Wilson's back. It's like, he is experienced. Okay, Justin Fields ain't got any fucking. Did he win a Super Bowl? He didn't win a Super Bowl.
I didn't want to have to pay Justin Fields after only a year anyways. Okay.
Now you're back, yeah. It's an interesting dilemma for you guys. Coach Tomlin's just going to let you guys know, too. I think that'll be pretty easy to figure out.
I don't think he will. But I'm all in on Justin Fields today.
All right. Hey, Tone, great work this week.
Hey, baby, Tony, too.
All right. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We're all in this thing together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's never forget that. People say some mean stuff. People say we say mean stuff. I want to let people know all of ours is in good intentions and trying to make the world be on the same page. I promise you that is the case. And sometimes, I guess it doesn't come out that way, or people don't hear it that way, but that's what we're going to continue to do because life is too short. We've all lost too many friends and family members without ever, thinking to ourselves, hey, this all can end today, tomorrow, the next day. Let's enjoy it all. We're in this thing together. Team on me. Team on three. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.